You found the coolest place to be, the PlayStation collecting season. Come on, won't you sing with me? Welcome to the show. Gather round the boys and girls, collectors from around the world. Let's show the people what they need to know. Welcome to the show. Gonna talk to guests, only got the best. Gonna put their knowledge to the test. Gonna laugh and eat, gonna live the dream. Gonna show you things you've never seen. Gonna sing a song to the break of dawn. Gonna rock this party all night long. So come on everybody, let me see you dance. Get yourself ready, you got one more chance. You found the coolest place to be, the PlayStation collecting season. Come on, won't you sing with me? Welcome to the show. Gather round the boys and girls, collectors from around the world. Let's show the people what they need to know. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the PlayStation Collectors Podcast. This is Season 3, episode number 21, and tonight we welcome back Forrest to the show. What's up, Forrest?
Hello, everybody. How is everyone doing this evening?
Hey, really good, man. Yourself?
I am doing great, man. I'm doing really good. It is
I
good to be
always
back on
love
the show.
seeing
by
it
the way.
set up. It's so clean. It looks awesome.
Yeah, dude, the game room looks amazing. As always.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
I love that it's like got that like it's got Ratchet and Clank, then the Nintendo and the PlayStation. It's like you like put like an equal amount of love into that little section there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I had to put the red curtain up to kind of balance out the blue because there's so much blue. So, and like,
Yeah, it's a
nice
once I get some
contrast.
Switch games, they're all on the other wall. But fortunately,
I really like how the games go halfway up the wall and then you've got artwork on the top. I think it looks really nice. And like most people just do it like mine and just stack it with games. And I like how you mix it up like that. It's cool.
yeah, I wanted to have at least some artwork on there, you know. Especially some of the games I really liked, like Magna Carta, Ratchet and Clank, Parasite Eve 2, and stuff like that. And then of course the Devil May Cry 3. And yeah, I just wanted to have little decorations. And I could have gone the route of just stacking everything in one area, but I wanted to do something different.
That looks cool, man.
It's been a few months since we've seen you, Forrest. What have you been up to, collecting wise and on YouTube, man?
Well, I've been really traveling for work, really. That's kind of where it's been. Gaming wise, I've held off until this year to really start playing the new releases this year. Like Grand Blue Fantasy, Relink, and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Persona 3 Reload, especially that. And then, of course, there's other games that I actually found recently that I've been looking for the last 10 years. A PS1 game that is from Japan that I absolutely am so happy to have.
Awesome.
So, yeah, there's a ton of stuff that I've got as well that I would love that we could talk about too. So, but other than that, man, honestly, just I've been trying to catch up on games, JRPGs. It's just so many. I don't even know where to start. This year has been just overloaded. Then we got Unicorn Overlord, Overlord. Trying to pronounce that, but yeah, that came out recently, and it's coming in the mail, but I don't have it right now. It should be here Saturday. And then Norm 9 Varkamen's the fan disc edition for the Switch. I got that too. So I do visual novels. But yeah, it's just so many, man. So many. And I could literally sit here all day. I could be locked in a room trying to play all these games. I still wouldn't be able to get them all done. There's no way.
And they're releasing more and more, and they're not just little games. These games are like 100, 120 hour JRPGs.
Yeah, I made a comment on Twitter about people complaining about too many games coming out at one time, and then complaining about when there's none. And I'm thinking, there's no way in the world everyone's played every single release.
Yeah, you don't have to play them all at the same time.
I mean, when there's a
why you could complain about a lot of good games coming out? That's good.
I mean that you can't buy every single game. I would love to own every single game that I like, but at the end of the day, that's not realistic. You have to just figure out what you want and pick up the stuff that you can pick up later. You know what I mean? You got to weigh and balance what you are able to financially able to afford and what interests you. So people who complain about this sort of thing, they got to look at the games they missed out on. You know what I mean? Because just because you want to be more relevant towards the newest releases, so you miss out on a lot of stuff that comes out past tense. That like for instance, there's a game called Lake that I want to get that looks really interesting.
I've seen like it looks good.
Yeah, so
There's
I try to
definitely
go and find those weird quirky games like that game called I think it's Werewolf, the one where the guy transforms into a wolf or he can walk around and sneak around enemies. I forget what it's called, but that was a launch title for the PS5. But yeah, there's just many games that I missed out on that I need to go back. Even on PS4, there's still many that I don't have. Even though I have a lot behind me, there's many that I still need to get. So
the PS4 library never ends. Literally,
No,
they're still just making more.
That's a problem that I'm having with that is the PS5 is not getting its full potential because of the multi-plats, but that's a whole nother discussion for another day. But
I definitely think
still a lot
today
of
there's a
exclusive
reason we're
PS4.
seeing so many extra games being released. And if we bring up the Insomniac leak, and during that leak, we seen that they had to delay all their games from COVID, and all the games that got delayed got put out. The same
I was
time
thinking that,
you're
right. I didn't. That never occurred to me.
2023, 2024. So we didn't get many games COVID time. Now we're getting all these games coming out that were meant to come out 1 or 2 years ago, and it makes sense.
You bring up a good point. I didn't think about that. There's probably a lot of games that never got released during the PS4 generation that are just now getting released, but a lot of them got ported to PS5 because it made more sense financially to do so. So,
during this time, new consoles came out, so these companies would have been like, "Hang on, why don't we make it a PS5 game now? We've already delayed it for a year. We may as well just make it for the new consoles." Exactly.
Yeah,
that's exactly what we're saying.
And I didn't even think about that, Figsy. I didn't even think about that.
I also feel like that they purposely release games around. This is when people get their tax returns. A lot of people in the United States.
I thought about that
so
too.
They're trying to get a piece of that and the seasonal thing too. I bet people will want to buy RPGs more in the wintertime when it's shitty out, and less time in the summer. So I bet like this time of year and then Christmas time, seasonal time, like is like why you see like a lot of stuff released around that time. And then you will see other stuff released in the middle because there's no competition. So that's its own reason to release things. Because if it's the only goddamn thing that comes out, that's good too, because people are bored for, there are people. So, but yeah, I was shocked at how many incredibly like amazing RPGs came out in succession in like a 4-week time, like February.
Honestly,
to now. It's just like it was wild.
I can't think of the last time I've seen this many JRPGs released in a short time window, and there's still more coming out. Even now, like was it?
East coming up. East Nordic coming up. I'm very excited about that.
I forgot about that too. See, I'm not complaining because think about the PS3 generation. There weren't very many JRPGs back then, so I feel like they're making up for the past. Because that was the generation
there were like 12
we weren't getting a lot
ones.
of good JRPGs back then. So.
I mean, they did a few. It had more JRPGs than any other system. But yeah, I mean, I guess in terms of just overall games, there weren't as many games made back then.
No, it
PS3
wasn't.
library, the PS3 life cycle was almost 10 years. The library is only 1,200 games. Like in 10 years of PS4, we've seen well over 3,000
way more.
games. Yeah,
way more.
crazy.
Yeah, it's true.
Gaming's more popular than it ever was too, though. So more people out there can do it. There's more accessibility. There's more people making games. It's cheaper to get your games published. So all these different things contribute to it.
Yeah,
it's a super. I'm saying that's not really nerdy and elitist, but it's a superior form of entertainment. You can interact with it. It's the same way streaming. I think is live streaming is superior to videos because interacting with the content is better than not interacting with it. It's like I've always like watching sports is fun, don't get me wrong, but you're just like watching someone else have a good time. When you're playing a game, you're the one having a good time. You're the one playing. Like, I just think that's so much better than just watching. I just think it's better. It's just more fun to interact with it and, have an influence about what happens, whether what you win or lose. Like, even story-driven games are superior to me than a lot of content because you can choose to what happens and like have it be funny or accidentally die, or there can be more things. I don't know. I think it's like long term going to be.
I don't even think it's a debate anymore, Joe. The numbers stack up for itself. Like video games makes more money than movies, TV shows, any form of media. Like Grand Theft Auto 6 is the most expensive piece of media ever being made. I think they gave a list of the 10 most expensive movies of all time, and it didn't even come up to the budget of GTA 6. So
It's crazy to think that that's going to surpass GTA 5's budget, and that was an expensive release to make.
I wanted to bring up a point because we're talking about releases. Do you think the game companies are out there right now going, we have to plan our next release around GTA 6? It has to either be months before it or months after it.
Yeah, I'm almost certain that's what's going to happen. I think they know that's a big title. They know if that's suicide if they release a game around GTA 6. That's suicide. I think I'm almost certain that's not going to happen. They're going to try to move that game around.
I'm certain there'll be 4 Chemco RPGs that come out the same week. What you talking about?
We'll get into the rule of
limited run's going to have 4 Chemco RPGs.
Chemco?
Yeah. Or whatever.
Oh God. Wow. Speaking of Chemco, we'll get to that
There'll
later.
be like 12 match 3 games that come out. There'll be like 3 code in a box, pet collecting games in Europe. I'm just kidding. There's always garbage coming out.
Chemco is the LJN of video games.
Okay, I've got one for you. Do you think Nintendo will release a big IP at the same time?
It's a good question.
Because in theory, GTA wouldn't cater to kids, even though it does. If there's a big Nintendo game launches out there, your average parent might be like, "No, I'm getting you this instead. Stick with Mario."
Figsy, I think Nintendo would do fine because I think Nintendo has a market they cater to that. Even though there's GTA 6, I could literally see somebody buying a Mario game and buying a GTA game at the same time. Nintendo is just, to me, they can hold their own even with something as popular as GTA. I really feel that way. Like I literally could see myself walking in, buying the new Princess Peach game, and then picking up GTA 6 at the same time. I literally could see myself doing that because it's like a companion to another system. I always look at Nintendo system as just a complementary to your main console that you normally play, and one you can relax and play on the side. And Nintendo has always been that, that homey type of feel.
It's got that charming aspect to it.
It has a charm that you really it sits its own.
The colors and the characters and the sounds, especially like Mario's, his trademark sounds and Yoshi's sounds, and like I don't know, it has like you said, like that comfort food almost. Like if you grew up with it, especially, nothing takes you back to like happy times than Nintendo.
And there's just something magical. There's just something magical about Nintendo. It really is.
I definitely don't see it hurting Nintendo or anything, but I definitely see it being a release unlike we've ever seen before, where it's almost like a stop in time for a few months because everyone is playing that one game. Like you'll see, I'm sure this will happen. You'll see average play counts on Steam for every game drop for a month or two, and it'll be like significant. It'll be like, oh, this is the lowest Counter-Strike player base we've had in 10 years, as well as Dota and League of Legends, etc. Because they have big Grand Theft Auto is. I could be wrong, but I feel like this is going to be the case.
But I do get what you're saying. Though
it could. I see people calling out from work and people skipping a lot of school.
What was that game in Japan that everybody will call out for work for? That they had to change the law.
COVID 2.0, guys.
It's turning into
Get it trending quick.
So what GTA 6 is supposed to come out when 2025?
2025 is what
they haven't put a release month.
All right, so let's say by then I would hope to God Nintendo's new console is out. So, as far as will they have big releases coming, I think they will have big releases coming, because if they're gonna have some bangers to launch their console, like they're going to. Like I would like to see Mario Kart
You
9.
reckon in 12 months they're gonna have a new console? I reckon we would have heard about it before. Well, like we would know about it if it's coming out next year. I feel.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would think so. I would hope so. I mean, the Switch is just like, sorry, but it's not hanging. Like, it can't play the new Contra game very well. Maybe that's just they did a bad job on the board. I don't know, but like, it's a little long in the tooth. It's really not cutting it. Like, for a lot of games, like, it just can't handle it anymore. Even like games that my girlfriend likes to play, like Slime Rancher 2 and stuff, like can barely play those games. And that's
crazy.
Yeah, that's not it's
Oh yeah, it was on a Saturday.
Can't really hang. What's that?
I'd love to know how it ran Hogwarts Legacy. If anyone's played it on the Switch, let me know.
I'm not sure. I think I heard it was decent enough, though. I mean, I'm sure it doesn't look incredible, and I'm sure the frame rate's not great, but I know. It's still cool to play that on the go. I mean, you could play it on a Steam Deck, and it would just probably like destroy your battery in about an hour or two. It would look great though. It would melt your belt buckle to your stomach.
Hey,
but
it's 15th. Does that mean Stardew Valley comes out tomorrow?
Yeah, I think it is tomorrow, or is it the 19th? It's either at least I don't know. It's coming up really soon.
It was the 16th, so
it's either 6 or 9, man. Whatever, bro. Woo! That's one of them. I don't know. Either way, I'm excited. Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. So, speaking of calling out of work, skip is cool. Let's just start it up, bro. Woo!
I'm only going to play a multiplayer file with you, Jay. That's going to be my whole playthrough for the new DLC.
That'd be awesome, man. That'd be sick. If you get the itch, I just start your own file though. Don't be going on a plane when I'm not around and neglecting my animals and neglecting my side of the fields, and I can't handle it.
It'll just look like
it's 2 years later. I'm like, what happened?
Dominican Republic and Haiti, where like one side of the island's green, and the other side is just all dead.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about that right now. So anyway, like I said, if Nintendo's launching a new console, I mean, they have to be. I mean, they have to be at some point. I mean, it's got to happen. It's got to happen. And so I think it'll get announced at least by 2025, and maybe come out maybe Christmas time 2020, something like that.
I still feel like they could just release an update to the Switch.
That's fine.
Upgraded the Switch.
I seriously do think they are working on something for a console. The reason I think that, if you notice, they're pushing out a lot of refurbished systems right now. A lot of them. A lot of stores are carrying refurbished Switches. And it makes me think that they're trying to get rid of any stock they have, to clear out the warehouse, to clear out whatever they have, to make any money they can make off of what they got left. So I think they're going to do a really big push for their last holiday season. Because if you remember the Wii U, they pushed a lot of Wii U's that final year, and you couldn't buy any more after that. You couldn't find any Wii U's after the Christmas holiday season. That was it. They were just gone. So I think the Switch might be in the same boat this year. It might be the final year of the holiday for the Switch is going to be this year, I think.
I'd put a counter to that the Wii U was like, after the first cycle of sales, they've sort of decided to can the Wii U, where they've been producing Switches for 7 years now. So they would have a much higher stock of Switches than they would have had Wii U's.
Yeah. I hope this is true. I hope they actually do a sale.
One thing I'm curious at, are we going to see Switch games drop?
No.
I don't think so.
I think you'll see some third-party games go on sale, and first-party games are going to stay with the price they are until they're gone, and then they're just going to get more expensive.
Now, if Nintendo is smart and this new system is backwards compatible, they need to do a Nintendo Selects for their popular Switch titles.
That'd be cool.
I think they should do that. And I think they may do that because there's a lot of games being discontinued from the first-party lineup right now. They don't make any more. So I could see them probably doing that and market them, probably selling for $40 instead of $60. I mean, $40 may be the new $20 for Nintendo. So I could see them doing that.
Just on what you said, Forrest, about backwards compatibility. Let's take two worlds where the new console is backwards compatible and where it's not. Do you think there'll be a difference in the price of used Switch games if that's the case? I feel like if it's not backwards compatible, the price would drop, right? If it is, they won't.
They could possibly do two variants. I do think they could do that. Yeah, and that way they can maximize sales on one that doesn't have the backwards compatibility to make profit, and one they're losing slightly on, which Nintendo normally makes profit on. But I could see them doing that realistically. I could also see them probably making a digital only one and one that is compatible, that has physical. So it's up in the air as to what they're going to do. But I would hope that if they do decide to make one with or without, um, it will not have any power differences, like in terms of performance. You know what I mean? Like how Xbox has the S and where it's lower quality performance compared to the main one. I hope Nintendo doesn't do that. I doubt it,
Well,
but you
PlayStation
never
with
know.
two
You never know.
PS5s
So,
with the same power. They just one plays a disc, one doesn't.
yeah, yeah, it's
So I'm
true.
curious. I feel like, let's say it is backwards compatible, and let's say there is a performance boost on the new device, and it plays some of the old games better. That'll definitely boost the price on some of the games that, like, say there's like Switch ports that just don't run that well on the Switch right now, but all of a sudden the new one they do run well, and that's still like the only physical cart for it, and they didn't release a new remastered version on the new thing. Like perfect example, like I bet like Ease 8 Lacrimosa Donna, like that Switch port isn't that hot. It's not that great. It doesn't run that well. I can't remember. I think it's I can't remember if it was in docked mode or handheld, but there was one mode where it had like a lot of like weird stuttering, and I don't know. And I just feel like if all of a sudden then it plays perfectly on the new device, that's what that version will become more desirable and it will go up in price. Whereas over time, if it doesn't, that's like the worst version. So then again, in general, let's just be honest, like Nintendo collectors are like the most hardcore, I think, of all collectors.
Ain't that the truth?
It's just I'm just being honest. Like they are very dedicated and very passionate, and they just I don't know. Pokemon is like on that system, and I think that's like I said, that's got its own mindset. Like if you grew up with a Pokemon addiction, like you probably like collecting.
And that's what I collect. I just collect every Pokemon game, you know. And
But
whatever
that
they bring
whole
out, I buy. It's like
you have to have them all. That whole attitude of
gotta
like
catch them all.
I know that's psychology. If you like, I was too old for that, so like it didn't. But like, if I was a little kid and I grew up immersed in that world, like I can see myself just being like, no, I need to have everything. Like I could see that happening. So
Not just that, Joe. Generation 1 Pokemon, like it was the start. The games were coming out, the cards were available. Like,
oh, I wish I bought the cards.
I was having.
Oh, dude, back then I like dabbled a little in Magic the Gathering and stuff. And I'm like, oh God, if I just kept some of those old cards, or if I just got into Pokemon, bought a few packs, that would be nice. But
Forgot about it.
What are you gonna do?
And we got a bit of a serious topic to talk about tonight. And I'm sure you guys are waiting to hear about it as it's our title, and that is Rule of Rose copies. So we're going to start firstly, we're talking about the POW UK version. So this doesn't concern the North American version at all. So North American collectors, rest assured there's no fake copies I'm aware of out there. However, in the UK and the POW collecting scene, there's a lot of fake UK copies out there. These have been spreading like wildfires through the Facebook groups, through collectors, throughout the last 2 years, I would say. And in particular, like the last few months, they're just popping up everywhere. People have bought them in the past and have opened them and proven that they're fake. So they're fakely printed, they're fakely resealed, fake manuals. Apparently, the GIS plays. But I know you can make software today that like bypasses PS2 security and stuff. I'm going to show you guys a screenshot or an eBay listing of one of them right now because they're on eBay, even though they're fake.
I was not aware of this.
So if you guys aren't aware, the UK copy were pulled from shelves. So the UK copy of this game sealed. The last one went for like £4,000 or something.
Jeez.
Like this isn't a
Oh, so
game.
it's like this was like a banned game in there.
Yeah. This is like you've got Rule of Rose. This is the rarest, most expensive version that suddenly like is everywhere, which isn't the case. I'm just finding this listing. I don't know if it's been pulled down. All right, here we go. 1 second.
It's all good. Yeah. At least the American collectors we got it good for the moment.
Wow, that is unbelievable.
So this is the post of one that's for sale right now, $2,000. There's been more than 5 of these sold all at this price. Just be aware. There's collectors out there, maybe even listening right now, that have purchased this. I'm going to enlarge the photo. So it looks pretty legit. It looks really new.
Mm-hmm.
You can see it's got the UK sticker on the back. There's no real telltale signs to tell it's fake, but they are fake. Yeah, so if you're in the market for Rule of Rose, don't buy one right now.
Oh no, click back on the first image real quick, Fixing. Oh, you know what? And they even made it. You see right there next to the 505 at the very. If you go up, there's like this line right there.
Yeah,
that
PlayStation
goes
2
around
power
the
games
plastic?
have got that strip on them. So
Yeah, that looks like a legit thing too. Because games in America don't have that.
Mm-mm.
yeah, so unfortunately, people know how to make really good fakes these days. I feel like I showed this like 2 years ago when I was on that Steelbook website. I'm sure that they had copies of Rule of Rose on there for like $40 each. Just like homemade copies. I'll have a look for them after the podcast.
Yeah, and that's and you were like warning like these are gonna start ending up in the market and the collector's market because either people will intentionally try to rip people off or people will unintentionally buy them and then try to sell them and not know they're selling bad games, and it just ends up being real messy.
Sell their collections because the average person who buys games sells their games within a certain amount of time. Like I've been in the collecting scene for a long time. Even I've sold
Yeah.
I know more people that have sold their collections than have it.
It makes me wonder.
If you've got a real game, you're going to sell it as a real game.
It makes me wonder about those soundtrack pre-orders I have for Rule of Rose. I'm surprised no one tried to, bootleg them or fake those, because
it's
those
an interesting piece because, like, the average scammer probably isn't aware of them.
Probably doesn't even know they exist. I was thinking that.
I need to delete that shit.
Yeah.
But I noticed a comment that by somebody named Cutler, Byron. I'm sorry. That would be actually good if they brought back the Sly Cooper games. I just don't know if they're interested in that now anymore. I don't know if Sony's. I don't know. I think the Sony we knew with all of the first party hits like Legend of Dragoon and Sly Cooper and all those other games that they made like one-offs of, or just to kind of bring some variety to their portfolio. I think they're kind of the Sony we knew is not going to be the Sony in the future now. I don't think they're going to be what they used to be. I have to face reality that Ratchet and Clank is going to be their main one that they're going to stick to for a while. I don't know if they're going to go back to any of the other ones. I could be wrong.
It's quite weird, right? Because those titles would be direct competitors to Nintendo. It doesn't seem like Sony want to attract kids anymore, I guess.
It doesn't seem like it to me either, no.
Console for adults.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I think we're in a different direction. Sony right now to me is it's not the Sony that we knew when the PS5 started. It's different now, and I don't know.
I don't think they're making games for that market, but there are like tons of kids oriented games on
Yeah, there is.
the
Yeah, there
PlayStation
is.
4, and there's like a million Mario Kart clones, and there's plenty of stuff to play for sure. But I am surprised that they don't have like they've always had like trouble like establishing their mascot, and they've kind of flip flopped about who that is or what that's going to be, like
That's
whether
the
it's
problem.
and they so they have like 20 like minor mascots. They got like Sackboy, and they got Crash, and they got like Sly, and they got Ratchet. And
And
I'm
I'm
surprised it's Jack and Daxter. I'm surprised there's no new
yeah.
Jack and Daxter games. Like that surprises the hell out
You
of
know
me.
what I just didn't realize, Joe, and it just dawned on me. They never stuck to a mascot every generation. Nintendo has always done so without fail.
Yeah, they've had trouble
And I
finding
think the
one.
problem with Microsoft and Sony, they didn't stick to it. They didn't hone in on that as a thing that you could rely on that a kid will look forward to.
I think Master Chief would be the closest thing that Xbox has for Microsoft. There's a mascot.
Yeah.
In my opinion, like I think of them and I think of Gears of War. That's like the two franchises. But
Yeah, it's really sad because you guys can see the Ratchet box right over here. I'm a big Ratchet and Clank fan. Like I have every single Ratchet and Clank game sealed on PS3. None of them are open. That's how much of a fan I am of the series. And it's just sad that that's really all they have right now. I really liked Sly Cooper. I really like Jack and Daxter. Mostly Jack 3. I'm not a big fan of the first two Jack and Daxters, but I like Jack 3 a lot. But my problem with it, Joe, is I felt like when looking back on the library, especially PS3, they really took chances because they knew that they had failed really hard when it came to the sale of the system. They had to find a way to get people to buy it, and they really took chances to get people into that system. And now it's like, I don't know. I don't really get the same feeling I got when the PS4, I love the PS4. It was so much, there was so many choices of games, and I just feel like the PS5 hasn't really got the stride yet. I think it's don't get me wrong, there's good games on it. It just doesn't feel quite as robust as last generation.
So like I feel like the way it should always work is that when a new console comes out, the developers like haven't really figured out how to develop for it as much, and it's a little slower going. But then towards halfway through the end of the life cycle is when you get like the better games, I would think. Like there's good launch games at like the end of the life cycle, you should be getting like a lot of amazing stuff. But I feel like COVID like screwed up their whole like push for install base, like for just units, and like that's like screwed everything up for their plans across the board for everything.
Yeah, I think so too.
Instead of like heavily investing in the PS5, because the PS4 install base has got to be insane.
Like, yeah, it's got to be 30 million people or something.
Well, PS4, right?
And most of them play PS Plus if they're playing online games.
Exactly.
$10.
But you know what, though? This ties into what we were talking about with Rule of Rose, and it was a very end of its lifespan when it came out. And what I find interesting about titles at the latter life of its, of a system's life, is that those are the ones that are really good quality games that no one plays because people have moved on to a different generation. And like, that's what makes those games valuable. When you look at now where multi-plat releases, previous generation and current, you know what I mean? You don't really find that same one-off game that was popular no one played, because at this point, everyone's got a different system that's got the same game. You know what I mean? Like, that's one of the things that's so charming about those generations, especially with the Rule of Rose.
Good thing that games are on more systems and more accessible these days.
Exactly.
I love seeing, even PlayStation games going to Steam and different things like that because more people can play it. I wanted to touch back on what you guys are talking about with the PlayStation mascot, and I was thinking about it. You know who the PlayStation mascots are today? You just mentioned one. It's Kratos, Spider-Man, and then Joel and Ellie. And that's PlayStation's mascot.
That's the PlayStation. You're right. You're right. And then there's nothing like a Ratchet and Clank will be the closest, but they're only making 2 games this whole generation from that.
I can't even. I mean, look, they put out Rift Apart, but it was a 20-hour game. It was the first new Ratchet and Clank game since the PS3, and it was a 20-hour game.
and
Like,
it can't top
Are they
A
really
Crack in
putting
Time.
in love into this series, or are they just milking a bit of
Yeah,
money out?
A Crack in Time was the longest game in the series, the darkest in the series, the most um, risk taking in the series. You know, I felt that was the best Ratchet and Clank game in the series. I really do think so.
Even
Um,
Ratchet and Clank 3 was a longer game than Rift Apart. Like, it came out on PS2.
yeah,
And we're
that's
in the
true.
era of, like, people want money for their games. I understand
Yeah.
that it was an amazing 20 hours, but I
It's
got
really
platinum
good.
trophy
I
in 20
loved
hours.
it. Yeah, I mean, I did love it, but I wouldn't pay like full price for it like anything else, like a shorter game like that. But I did love that game.
But see, that's the thing. You shouldn't be saying that about PlayStation's biggest IP. That'd be like saying I wouldn't pay full price for, one of the Mario games or a Zelda game or a Pokemon game. No one
And
says
that's
that.
a big. I think right now we're kind of dealing with first party games, the length of a game, the price of a game based on its development costs and what they put into it. I feel like that's kind of what Japan does actually. They have a thing over there where not every game is set price based on, I forget the term they used, but it's based on heart and soul of what the developers put into it that they feel is
That
worth.
makes sense. Like on Steam, if you go on Steam, all the games are priced differently, and they're priced differently according to some of them
Hmm.
are overpriced and underpriced, but then they'll
Yeah,
get
games
removed,
just
etc.
a game just shouldn't release just because it's a set MSRP. It should be based on what the developer feels is worth, the cost of ownership. You know.
Some
I
of the
don't think
And
Ratchet and Clank's price was wrong. I just feel like Sony or Activision didn't put in what it was worth and should have given
yeah,
it.
and I'll be honest, I enjoyed Rift Apart. I did like it. I platinumed the game. But would I, if I could go back and start over, would I spend, if there were more choices of games, would I have bought that at $70? Probably not. But it was really the only thing out at the time, and it was one thing that felt like it was true next gen. So that's the reason why I bought it.
Yeah, I just felt disappointed that it was over so fast, and I spent a lot of money on it.
Yeah, that's true. It was expensive. You're not wrong. Is a
There's
very
a lot of
expensive
like
game.
platformer games or short games like that, but they're cheap games, and you don't feel like if you buy a half price game and you beat it in 20 hours, you don't feel
Yeah,
cheated. I
That's
just
what
had
I
that
did though.
experience after I played Ratchet and Clank, and
yeah.
it felt like I've been ripped off in a way. I don't know.
So almost all of the new PS5 releases that are like really expensive $70 games, I've almost bought them all secondhand, like new copies a couple weeks or a month after they come out for half the price because of that. Like I was just
There
like,
is,
I'm just not paying $70 for Ratchet and Clank, and I think I got it for like $30. Like I got Hogwarts for
that's,
cheap like that.
I,
Like Returnal really cheap like that because I was just like, no, I'm not spending. It's like I'm resisting the urge to spend $70 on a game. It's so hard to justify when you have a room full of games. I understand if you buy like a couple of games a year, who gives a shit, whatever. It
yeah,
doesn't matter. But if you're buying lots of games and you can't even play them all, it is irrational to spend like the maximum amount on day one to get games. It just doesn't
yeah.
make sense.
I'm pretty sure
You're
Speed Killer's right here, and it was 124 Australian dollars.
124 Australia.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, when the PS5 first came out in Australia, all the games were $100 each.
Holy
110
mackerel!
Demon Souls.
I, there's a good friend of mine in who lives in Sydney, um, who sends me games that are exclusive in Australia or just exclusive in the PAL territory. And he ended up getting me, I want to say it was a Final Fantasy IV, the collector's edition that they had for the PSP. They had the little cloth screen cleaner, and but he said he paid like 100 Australian dollars for that when it first came out. So for me, when he was doing a trade with me, I had to buy something comparable to what he paid for it. I was like, dude, I'm not gonna send you anything less than $150 game here in the US. It's just not gonna. I had to be realistic with the money he spent for it. And that just blew my mind because up here in America it was $39.99 when it came out. So it was just like it was crazy.
Yeah,
So
we have a few retailers, and some of them will sell it cheaper. But you have some instances where EB Games will be the only place that gets the game, and then they decide to market it RRP, which is like $9, and it's that
Yeah.
price until it has a price drop. So it either sells or it just sits on the shelf for 6 months. And yeah, it's shitty. You know, you're never going to get a sealed copy because it's open, gutted, and sitting on the shelf.
Well, I'm sure once it's all digital in there, they'll give us lots of deals.
I don't think they will, honestly, Joe.
No, they
I don't
won't.
think so.
It'll be 130
Their
US
ultimate
dollars
goal is
that's
to
an
get everybody.
interesting point
forever.
because Steam have more deals than anywhere. Like Steam Marketplace have got crazy sales. All the time.
Steam is like the, gosh, I don't even know, the open market, the free market of
That's
the video
yeah.
game. And Sony is going to be like, no, we're only going to put 6 games on here that you can buy. They're going to be our games, and they're going to be this much. We're not going to let, you know, they don't let everybody put all their games on their network, right? Not like Steam does. You can put anything. You can put. We were talking about the price of games being like what people think they're worth. It's a lot of 99-cent games on Steam that they're worth exactly 99 cents.
There's a lot of
that
them.
way.
Hey, a lot of those games have got limited run releases.
I like is the
Saturday morning
troll
RPG.
game.
I like that.
I like the games that are literally designed to be like stupid and obnoxious or terrible on purpose, just so people will give them to each other as gifts, as a joke. Like that is hilarious. What a great idea! It's like literally like I saw one. It was like you're like a stick figure in a boot jumping over turds, and like that was like the whole game. And I'm just like, oh my god! Like so, and the whole idea is that you are not supposed to buy this for yourself. You're supposed to spend 99 cents and just send it to people. You're like, here you go. And they're like, oh, why, thank you.
Have you played that game I bought you yet?
Wow.
Yeah, that's you know, and like I don't feel like that's gonna happen on PlayStation ever. That'll never be that fun.
No, I don't think that'll happen either, man. And truth be told, my issue with digital is just the words that Phil Spencer said, where it's entitlement. And the thing about that to me is, okay, so I'm giving you money for an entitlement. I'm thinking, so are you saying that I should be entitled for it, like gratefully entitled? Be grateful you're getting something to play that you spent your hard-earned money on, but I'm going to look at it as a entitlement to you to play it. And I'm like, I don't think I can see that as acceptable when you work every week to pay for something that you should own. But it just seems like more and more every day we're getting less and less freedom with our own stuff. Like it's not right in the end.
I want to bring up a point that sort of ties into what Forrest just said about ownership. And Steam does this pretty well, and we all know what Microsoft do right now and what PlayStation want to do. So let's assume that PlayStation and Microsoft both release new consoles that don't have discs. It might happen. And then they want to go down this whole subscription route. Well, I'm only going to buy my games on PC because I still own them.
Same here.
Yeah,
yep,
same
100%.
Same thing.
I was going to say this exact same thing, Figsy, is like, again, I've tried like why once the digital marketplaces are all like just all there is, I'm just gonna get Steam. Why would I get anything else? I've already like Steam has a head start on like loyalty and customer base and like install base. Remember we're talking about install base? I already have a Steam library of a ton of games, and I can play it on my PC, and I can play it on my Steam Deck on the go, and I have my Steam Link thing, whatever the hell that thing was called too. I still have that too. If I really want to, I can play remote play or whatever. So like, there's no reason for me to all of a sudden stay with Sony. Like there's no reason for me to like, why would I do that? Like, I'm not going to buy a console to put in my living room just to throw digital games on it. I'm just going to build another PC. Why the hell would I bother?
Especially when you can then buy all the Microsoft games as well and have two
and have emulating out the ass and a million terabytes. And I can use it as a media center and put all my music and like do all the stuff that you used to be able to do with your PS3. Remember in the PS3, you could do everything.
Yeah, that thing was an all-in-one machine. It was a computer.
It was the balls, man.
It was literally a computer. Sony designed a
and
system.
the George Foreman grill.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
that's like Sandeep, like he said that book. It did everything. It did. It was the shit, man. Like
I mean, you could
that
play
was like your
CDs on it.
media hub.
It could play burnt
Yeah.
CDs. It could play Blu-rays. It could play DVDs. Even the ones that weren't PS2 compatible could do everything just about PS1. You know.
Oh, by the way, mods. Why would I want to be locked into your stupid Sony ecosystem for all digital content if I'm not even allowed to mod my fucking games? Sorry for my French, but like on Steam, I can mod my stuff, and I can put Beat Saber on there, and I can either pay $20 for 10 songs from Sony every 6 months to a year, or I could go on and get 1,000,000 songs for free that are amazing. That people come out with 1,000 new songs. What? Why would I want to be in your ecosystem again? Like, why would I do that?
Okay, going on the modding thing, the way the communities work is a game comes out, there's a bug. The community makes a mod to fix the bug instantly. The bug gets patched in the game like a year later. Like anytime something is faulted, there's a mod for it. Like it's in every PC game I've ever played. Another thing I wanted to bring up when we're talking about the life cycle of the ecosystem is we've got the Steam marketplace as well. I don't know if you guys have ever used it before, but I went on there once and I'd played all these games I've had my Steam account for 8 years now. And I played all these games back in the day. And every time you play a Steam game, you unlock achievements, you get like cosmetic items and stuff, and it goes into your marketplace. And I went on there for all these old games that I'm never going to play again. And I had all these weird items, and I sold them all. And some of them I sold for like $5 or $10 each, just random items from games that might have cost me.
I keep forgetting about that stuff, that I have those in my account.
Yeah, I had
keep forgetting
Counter-Strike
about it.
items that I literally made a fortune on, more money than I'd ever spent on the game, and they were just sitting there. There's no reason that PlayStation can't have you go on your Fortnite account or your Apex Legends account and sell all your skins that you bought back in the day right now to other people that want them. They just don't do it because they want all the money.
Yeah.
Like, it should be a freedom to do it. And it's like, this will probably go to court one day. In like EU, I know will push it, and like it'll be a thing. But Steam have been doing this for 10 years.
There
I think
needs
it'll
to
be-
be there
there'll be
needs
like
to
a
be a way to
digital
have
bill of rights
digital
thing.
currency, digital trade, digital goods, to where you feel like you still have some ownership. I think that's the problem right now. Companies have that hold on digital, and the consumer has no valid legal representation of what they spend their hard-earned money on. That's the problem. I think
I
once we
mentioned
get
this 2 years ago. I said cosmetic items should be NFTs. Remember when we spoke about NFTs coming? And what could they be? They could be these cosmetic items that you buy. You buy a $2 skin for your character in a game, then suddenly it's an NFT, and you can put that skin on a character in another game later on, or you could sell it to someone else, and you have ownership of it. Otherwise, you're just giving someone money for no reason.
precisely. Yep.
I just don't find the subscription model appealing either. Like, I just don't like. I don't like the idea of feeling obligated to pay someone forever to retain access to the things I enjoy. Like, I just don't like that. Like, I the whole concept to me is crazy. Like, I'm just not down. Like, I'm not down. Like,
The idea of having Game Pass and you have all these games, and I'm like, yeah, but if I don't play it for a whole month and I just spent 20 or whatever the amount of month is, I just wasted money I could have spent somewhere else. To me, I made a joke to a friend of mine. He came over one day to borrow a game, and I said to him, "You see everything I got behind me? This is my digital library. You know what I mean? Like, this to me is my subscription service, because I can play any of these games anytime I want to. I'm not bound by paying a monthly subscription to play them. They're there, and I think, to me, I think when you have a lot of games in your collection, you realize that you don't feel bound like other people who may not have that accessibility to games. Like, it just, I don't know. I feel indifferent to the idea. Like, I don't like subscription services either. I just don't.
No.
I just don't. I don't care for them either.
So I wanted to go back to something you said earlier too, when like that you were talking about. I remember who you were talking about, but they were saying like they were like felt that we're entitled, or like we feel like entitled, we should feel entitled that we're even like allowed to play their games or something. And it's not like that. It's the exact opposite. Like these people feel like they're entitled to our money for some reason. And they feel like that no matter what they do and no matter how they present it to us and no matter what options they get, we're just going to take it and like it and buy it because that's what we're because we have no choice apparently, or we're just going to take it or something. And like that's what I know. Part of the other time I don't want to talk about driving in the gaming industry too much, but that's pretty much what the core of all of this drama that's going down right now with this Sweet Baby Inc. and all this stuff. It's just that people are literally just trying to be like, fine, you know what? We just want to choose what we want to buy, and we're going to buy the things we like, and you guys can make whatever games you want, however you want, and we're just going to like, we just want to know what they are so we can not invest in them and buy them as products, and just that's it. You're not entitled to our money. You're not. So if we just want to know if you're going to make those games the way you're going to make them, go ahead. We're not going to pay for them. And that's now they're all freaking out because they just don't like the idea that we have a choice and we are entitled to choose what we want and what we don't want. Like that drives people crazy. Like they're like, no, you have to buy what we make. You have no choice. And it's not like that, guys. We do have a choice, and we all have a choice of what we want to spend our money on. And telling people you have to support something or you have to buy something, or if you don't want to, you're a bad person, is insane. You're crazy if you do that. You're nuts if you think that you can tell other people they have to buy something and they're not allowed to say they don't like it. You're crazy. Like that's how I feel about this whole situation about that. And that
like when
I completely agree
if
with
someone
you.
they
Bro.
game to review and they have to review it good.
I completely agree with you. But the word entitlement, I'm like, it's beating around the bush of saying you don't own it. And I don't know if people caught that when Phil Spencer said it, but he's basically saying it to where it sounds like you own it, but you really don't. And I don't think many people brought that up. And it's not fair to the consumer at all. It's not fair, you know.
Well, I just
But they
ordered
don't
a
see it that
Japanese
way.
PS1 game, and once it gets here, I'm gonna own it. It'll be mine.
Yeah.
And that'll be that. That'll be that.
Regardless
Like,
if the developers lose a license to it or sell
Yeah.
the game to someone else, or
and guess
Exactly.
what? Nobody could stop me from buying those games. Nobody can stop me from buying other games like that forever. Like I know none of us have to buy these new products, and I think they're going to be. I think that the gaming industry going all digital is going to go just as well as it went for the music industry, where all of a sudden, once it was all digital and nobody was buying physical stuff anymore, like the revenue dropped for everyone.
It did.
So musicians, they don't make money off of album sales anymore. They make some money off streaming, but they make the majority of their money now off of selling merch and ticket sales and doing live concerts and album and soda promotion deals and crap like that. You know what I mean? And they all start their own companies. You notice, like all these musicians eventually do something else. They start clothing lines or cologne lines, or they do all something else because like music ain't making them no money. And video games, it's gonna suffer the same fate where the money's just gonna dry up and only a small group of people are gonna make it, and everybody else is not gonna make any money. And like it's the same thing with the movies. Like in the movies, they used to be able to make smaller budget movies because people would spend some money going to see it in the theater, and then they would spend money buying the DVDs, and they could make money that way. That whole market's gone. So now they don't make small movies because they can't make any money, because they would have to have a whole bunch of people go see it in the theater, and nobody will. So like that whole, it's like the digital world isn't as good as the physical world for
it's
not.
catered to people
all
at
of
the top,
all entertainment.
We're
It's
missing out
absolutely
on
not.
people who have real creations, and like the best games, movies usually start from one small idea, and then that's how they would turn into big franchises. They don't start from big franchises and go the other way.
Yeah, Ninja Turtles was like some dude made it in his house. You know what I mean? Like you said, it was just a comic he made, and then it grew and became a show and became this huge phenomenon. So yeah, like you said.
But you know what's also going to affect the physical media though in the end when all this happens is that those who regret not getting it are going to want to buy it, and it's going to skyrocket all the physical media that exists for games
Oh yeah.
in a major way. And it's yeah.
What's up, Denver? Oh, I think all physical media will go up in value. I think even Blu-rays and DVDs and 4Ks and stuff will go up in value for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because
and
there's
you know,
It won't be everything, but it'll be a
Mhm.
lot of the pieces that people are after. You know, they'll always have the cheap stuff, which will be cheap.
Yeah.
Like the DVDs will always have the biggest spread of like just shovelware, and we're gonna see like shovelware DVDs for 20, 30 years, but there'll always be expensive ones and things like that.
so I would invest in burners if you guys are. I would get a few CD burners and DVD burners and Blu-ray burners. You can get 4K burners, and I would grab some because then you can make your own physical media and at least do that. So you know, if it's if you don't want to pay for streaming and you don't want to pirate, you know, you want to pirate everything and you don't want to fill your hard drive up because I don't know, everyone's lost a hard drive in their life, right? Like that's happened to everybody where you've like filled it up
Yeah.
with 10, 15 years worth of torrents and you're like, yeah, baby. And then it just dies and you're like, oh my freaking God. So
True.
you can just
Very
burn it
true.
at least. Also, dude, I don't know. Have I talked about this on the podcast before? But there was an article about some Chinese company that came out with a DVD type disc that holds 200 terabytes worth of data.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
I heard about that too. Yeah.
What? Yo, let's go. Physical media is back, baby. 200 terabytes.
It ain't
on
going nowhere,
disc?
man. People think physical media is going to die out. No,
Oh.
it's
That's
only
wild.
going to get better. It's only going to get better because they know people want ownership. It's a fight between digital and physical. That's what it is. It's a fight of like entitlement versus choice. You know what I mean? And I'd rather have choice. I don't want to feel like a company is getting entitled and giving me entitlement to something. I want to
You're
have
not
choice
wrong
to
that-
decide what I want to do.
There's a whole lot of people that are just going to go and sign up for the subscription. And that's fine. Like, it's okay. But it's not. It's going to be worse for the business and not good for the business. It's not going to be
Yeah.
it's going to be worse. Just like I said, it's going to happen with every form of entertainment.
And it's going to go the same road as the movie market. Like right now, it's what $59 a year for Disney. Next year, it's $129.
Yeah, it's expensive, man. Like
We
I don't
like
even have any current streaming services right now because I'd rather have my money put in something else that I'm going to get, something out of. I probably, I'm sure I'm missing out on some shows and stuff, but that's just me.
If you really want to watch something, you can make a new email address and sign up for a free trial and do it that way.
It's true. Yeah.
I've done that like 10 times for like the 10 shows I wanted to watch and watched them and then canceled. And then
If you wait long enough, you can start over. So yeah, there you go.
easy to make an email account these days.
But yeah, we brought up a lot of good points about this, and in the end, it's just interesting to see what they're going to do next generation with Sony and Microsoft, and Nintendo's going to be Nintendo. So I don't really count Nintendo in the exact same way.
They're a wild card. Who knows what they're going to do?
Yeah,
Like I'd
really
assume that they'd have a console that has either carts or discs. I'd be
They're
very
gonna be
surprised
like,
if they went
The
digital.
new console is a phone. It's all mobile games. The Nintendo phone. Everybody get a phone. It's just wrong. No.
God,
Yeah,
that would
but
be
they
terrible.
could do that because then they could be like, and it's the only way to play our new game, Pokemon
Mhm.
Go 2. And
You have
30
to
million
sign up.
people instantly buy it.
And you have to sign up
that
for
was
our
the
our
biggest
data
selling
plan.
game in 5 years.
I just want them to have, decently running games. That's what I want. Because what was that one? Was it what was the last Pokemon game? It was run really bad.
Yeah, Violet and Scarlet, they both ran that. And I mean,
I
think
didn't buy it
that's
because it
to do with
looked
hardware as
terrible.
well.
It ran terrible. My friend liked the game, but I told myself I'm not buying that. That game runs like garbage. I'm not doing
Yeah, I
it.
struggled to play it. I played like 20 hours of it, and I'm like, this is just.
I liked Sword and Shield a lot more. I thought that game ran a lot better. I'm like, I just enjoyed Sword and Shield a lot more than that game. So
What's
I
funny
really
is-
enjoyed the I call them like remasters of Brilliant Diamond and Pearl. I wish
Yeah,
they do that for all the games. Like
they really should.
do a red, blue, and yellow remaster, and gold, silver, and crystal. You know, you're guaranteed to sell 10 million copies. Like it's free money at this point.
It's free. It's free Benjamins.
Yeah, it's gonna
I saw
run
one.
fantastic on the Switch. Perfect.
Yeah, there's just certain games, if done right, can run really well on the Switch. You know.
Of course, but also the Switch being such a weaker piece of hardware is why it's so easy to emulate and hack and steal games and stuff. Like just the size of the files is, you know what I mean, like a huge thing. Like it's so hard to like, you know, some of the Sony games are like 150 gigs. It's a lot harder to just sit there and download and fill up your hard drive full of Sony PS5 games. But the Switch, they're a lot smaller, and you can fill up your hard drive full of those games. So stuff matters. Like
Yeah.
they need to have like a more powerful system if they can, in my opinion.
Surprised we haven't got like 100 terabyte computers at this point yet. Seems like you know how every year like the size of hard drives were like quadrupling. It seems like it's slowed down the last couple of years.
Oh, it'd be nice to be getting 100 terabyte SSDs for cheap. I'd be down with that.
That'd be real nice.
I mean, it'll be a thing one day. Like,
of course, always, yeah, like you said, always. It's a matter of time. Like eventually, you'll have
little terabyte won't even be in the
no
lingo anymore. It'll be such an old. It'll be like a megabyte, you know, or a gigabyte. No,
it'll be like when we were like 16 bits. Wow, like that, you know.
No. I still got an old
megabytes. That must hold so many games.
I got an old computer in there in my closet that used to belong to my dad, and I think it had Windows 95 on it. I think it's got like 20 megabyte hard drive.
Like 4 songs.
And it has Adobe on it. Was it Photoshop? I was like, Photoshop on Windows 95? How is that even possible? Yeah.
Ready for the quiz?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna clip the conversation about Real Rose and upload it as a separate YouTube video because it was pretty interesting. A lot of people have to hear about it.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of interesting things to do, you guys want to play the Figsy quiz?
Sure.
I do. Let's go.
Let's do this.
All right, we're going to start off with chat's question first. This is a pretty special chat question. Features our very own guest, Forrest. You guys have to name the video game from the photos.
Oh.
First person to get it gets the point.
That's funny.
Maybe you know someone in the photo. I don't know.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. I don't even know.
He used me as Shrek once. No, I'm just kidding.
I like the one. I like what Speaker said. Motorstorm Apocalypse F4. I don't. Dang.
It's a good one. All right, let's get into the quiz, guys. So the way this is going to work is we've got 2 franchises. We're going to be naming one at a time. I'm going to show you guys a photo of a bunch of words. Each word's a clue. You guys are going to take turns in asking for a clue. I'm going to reveal the clue, and then you can take a turn to guess the franchise and take turns in doing that until someone gets it. And if you get a point, you get a point. If there is lock scores at the end because there is only 2 questions. I do have a tiebreaker question. So here are the clues for the first game. Forrest, I'm going to let you go first because you're the guest.
Wait, what are we doing? What the hell's
So
going
here's
on?
a bunch of clues. These are
Okay.
clues for a franchise. Once you ask me, say it's Forrest's turn first, he can say numbers. I will go to the clues and give you the number clue.
Okay.
So Forrest,
All
which
right.
clue would you like?
Let me actually have gameplay as a clue. Some clue.
Which one, sorry?
Gameplay. Yeah.
Almost every game in the series, with only a few exceptions, allow 2 players to play the game simultaneously. Now, Joe, you can either have a clue or you can choose to answer.
So wait, I get to go now? He gets to ask
Yeah.
the clue and then I get to guess? Or I can
Yeah,
ask for a clue?
You
That
can
it
ask
works?
for either, but obviously you're not going to get it without the first clue. So Forrest had to ask one.
Let me see. So now I can either just guess or ask for a clue, not both.
Yeah.
But if I ask for a clue, I don't get to guess. He gets to guess.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go with advertisement.
The advertisement clue. I'm going to show you a poster from an advertisement poster from the game.
Okay.
Oh wow.
All right, Forrest, would you like to answer or would you like a clue? And you guys got 3 strikes each.
Dang.
Making up rules on the go.
I think I'm gonna ask for one more clue this time. Could I do PAL?
NES, SNES, and Mega Drive titles in PAL had a different title than in the US market.
Okay, so that
Joe?
I'll go with PS1 as the clue.
There are 2 games of this franchise on PS1. The first was originally sold with a pair of analytic glasses. Angelic glasses.
What?
I'm gonna get a photo of them. I got no idea what these are.
There's a photo of the glasses?
No, I got no idea what they are.
Oh.
Oh, they're just like 3D glasses.
hmm.
Yeah, no.
All right,
Like,
Forrest,
Dude,
would you like to answer or would you want another?
Truth be told, when I saw that advertisement, I was thinking Super Meat Boy, but it obviously was never on Famicom or old consoles back then.
I can see Super Meat Boy in that ad, yeah.
Yeah, so that's obviously not right. That would have been my first. That would have been my first choice, a first guess, but that's not right. That's my answer. Unfortunately, that's not right. I know.
Yeah, Super Meat Boy is incorrect. Right, Forrest goes right. Yeah.
I'll do numbers as a clue.
Numbers.
Yeah, because
There are more than 15 game titles in the series.
Holy
But
shit!
the highest digit in the titles is 4.
15 titles in the franchise.
But there isn't a. It's not Grand Theft Auto because it's not GTA 5 because there's a 5 in that.
So there's a number. And it started back then. Let me think. Well, the only series that I can think of that had lasted that long.
It's not on the NES. Jeez.
Would it happen to be? I remember. I'm thinking back on that picture you showed earlier.
Oh yeah, bring the clues up.
Maybe I should have played checkers instead. Wow. Dang. Based off of what we have here, just what you have as far as clues, and it's a numbered entry. It has a numbered entry. Oh, wow. And there's music involved in this. What would be? You know what? Let me look at the clue for music actually. I want to confirm my suspicion I'm thinking of.
Here's a photo of the vinyl.
Hmm.
All right, Joe, you're up. Would you like a clue, or would you like to answer?
I feel like I should know this. I have no flipping clue, dude. Time, I guess.
Mostly, all games in the series are set in the 27th century. First,
27th century. Okay. God, I'm trying to think of the only number of mini series I can think of. Wow,
PS1. This was on
I'm
the PS1, the SNES, the NES. You said they were on all those systems. What the freaking hell, man?
yeah, I really cannot think of that many. Like I know of some franchises, but none of these clues are tying me to the franchise I'm thinking of. Because there are more of those franchises than what you mentioned. There currently
are there
are.
any clues left?
First is the only one left.
First is the only clue, yeah.
Do you want the last clue first?
Sure, let's go for it. Let's see what the last clue is.
The first game was released in 1987.
Hey,
all right. Well, it's my guess. I'll say Wolfenstein.
Not Wolfenstein. All right, Joe's got a strike. Forrest has got one strike. Forrest, you're up.
This is
So,
on PS1.
Forrest, you can either answer or I can reveal the final clue, which isn't on the board.
please
well,
let
you
me
didn't
have
even
a
give me that
final
option. What the fucking hell, man?
The final clue.
I didn't know there was another
You
clue.
just answered before I even.
Oh, I didn't know there was a hidden
Yeah.
magic clue.
clue.
The final clue is only to be revealed if you answered all the clues. And
Yeah, I'll take the final clue. Let's see what the final clue is.
however, Joe will get to answer first.
That's right.
Okay.
Since this was all a mind game. I have no
Hey,
idea.
Joe played in your hands. What do you mean? All right, the final clue. The last game of the series was released a few days ago.
What? A few days ago?
A few days ago. This...
Just out of curiosity. Dang it, I can't say anything now.
You can say whatever you want, man. I still get the guess, though.
I'm
I'm
gonna
give it
I'm
a
not gonna
few days ago. There's 14 games in the series. And what the fuck? Why should I feel like this should be obvious. Dude, what came out a few days ago?
I'll give you 20 seconds to answer, Joe.
Pass. I don't know. Give me a strike. No idea.
All right, Forrest.
Okay, so here's what I want to. This is just my suspicion. It's got to be a music or rhythm game. That's what I'm thinking. A music rhythm game, some kind of. Because it sounds to me like there's multiple games. I think. I know it's a music game. It's a music game. That's all I know. I just don't know the name of it. I know it's a music game. That's my assumption. Can I at least say if I'm close? Maybe. Oh, I don't
can't
know,
give you
dude. I don't know.
spoilers,
I
yeah.
really don't know the name. I can't. I'm sorry, man. You got me. I'm just only speculating that it's got to be a rhythm or music based game that started on like those consoles all up to now, and that's all I can think of.
Dude, a guy had
So
like a Nazi helmet on. What are you talking about? Do you see the soundtrack that looked like a rhythm game to you? No offense, but it's not a rhythm game. On NES, it came out on the NES and the PlayStation 1. There's no all of this makes no damn sense to me. There's 15 games, but there's only 4 in the series. The fuck does that mean?
Dude, I don't. Dude, you got me. I don't know. I mean, I really
guys,
don't know what
I'm
it is.
going to reveal another clue that wasn't even on the list. Joe talked about this series earlier in the
Really?
podcast.
Are you serious?
Just to
Joe
make it
even
fun.
talked about it. Joe.
Not a game that you guys don't talk about, and you had a good discussion with him about it. So
We did?
yeah. Bro.
So the clue is in this video. Oh God.
Go 10 seconds. And
Oh God.
Rule
I
out
think
no one getting a point.
I don't know. East, Trails of Cold Steel, or Final Fantasy.
Bam bam. Correct answer was Contra.
Oh, you got to be kidding me.
We're looking for the Contra series.
Contra.
4 was the highest numbered game in the series. So in the power
I've
region,
totally
Pro Protector. Here's the.
I would have never ever thought
Yeah,
about
makes
Contra.
sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, I never would have thought about Contra.
So that advertisement actually screwed with me bad because of the stupid Sega logo. You had my brain going. See the little Sega at the bottom, the little gold Sega. Dude, that messed with my head so bad, dude. I'm just like, I have no idea what Sega franchise was on NES and PS1. Like, what the frick?
Yeah, and I didn't know either.
So that like,
It wasn't a Sega
And-
franchise. It was just on the Sega, you know.
And what was the
yeah.
new Contra game that came out recently? Because I don't even know.
Operation
Galuga or something.
Huh.
Beluga Whale.
Wow.
All right, let's move on to the second question.
That was smooth. That was a good one.
That was a good one. It got me tongue tied, literally.
So Joe, you're gonna go first on this one.
Okay.
Oh wow.
What hint would you like?
Geo.
All right, I'm going to show you a map of where this series is set.
Okay.
All right, first, would you like a clue or do you want to answer?
Give me cover.
It's part of the front cover of one of the games. Gotcha. Would you like a clue?
Prince of Persia.
Correct answer. Prince of Persia.
Get at me!
What?
Go! Let's go!
How did you figure
Who
that?
needs clues? Because I know where Persia is. Or was.
This week's winner is Joe Rab. Well done, Joe.
Let's go! Round 2 is way better than round 1.
Taking
Wow.
it after one clue. That was impressive. I was
It
going
was
to say I probably would have got it right after the geography question.
Well, I guess I helped you out, Joe.
Let's go.
I would have never got it,
No one got
honestly.
the chat question, though. No one's got the chat question yet, so I'm going to pull it up one more time.
Wow.
Chat, we need you guys to name the video game.
Wow.
So I got 3 covers or photos or different characters. You may or may not know from video games or video game collecting scenes. First person to correctly name the title gets a point.
That's funny. That's too funny.
You guys want to get into some pickups?
Heck yeah.
I haven't got too many. I'll get mine out first because I know you guys have got a few to show off today. All right, so moving on from where we left off from the PS1 collection, we finished on N, so we're moving into O, and some pretty exciting games. Two of my favorites, actually. I believe this was the first game I ever played on PS1, and it was the demo. This was the demo I played. It was Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey.
Well, that's I can see why you love PlayStation then, because that probably blew you away back then.
Yeah, so good. I mean,
game looked amazing.
Me
That was a
going,
good game.
look, I can make the guy fart. I can make him fart. Look.
Yeah.
That was a solid game, especially the one I played with Soulstorm. That was really good too.
Oh, just great game.
They're really good. Yeah,
I think I played it in 1999 or something. It was a good time for gaming. Next we have Pac-Man World.
Very nice.
I never actually played this one. I just picked it up. Part of a lot. It's a Pac-Man game. Goes in the collection.
I have that as well. It's a fun game.
I think we have a pretty cool series that stopped after the PS1, so it's kind of sad. And the first one is Pandemonium.
Oh, I've never heard of that one.
3D adventure game, I'm pretty sure. Like a platformer.
Yeah, I've never heard of that one before.
Did it get a US release?
Yeah, it did.
It did?
So.
Okay.
I think so. I could be wrong. I think it did, though.
And it got a sequel as well. We got Pandemonium 2.
Yeah, I've never heard either one of them. No.
Yeah, they're like
that cover's cool though.
Yeah,
those are like they're not like super cheap games, but they're not crazy expensive. I think they're like 40, 50.
Yeah, like $40, $50 each. Exactly.
Yeah, they're like those mid-range games.
And they didn't sell that great, but the people that bought them loved them and different things.
Correct.
Yeah. Kind of got a small cult following.
Mm-hmm.
Next we have Pipe Mania 3D. This just screams PS1 to me.
I love that art cover though. That's cool.
It's just a game where you try and like connect pipes and make different colors flow through the pipes and different ones.
Okay, so they both got released in the States. Okay. Atari Fanboy 1977 just said.
Nice. Next one, I'm missing number 1, 2, but I've got the sequel, and that is Point Blank 2.
Oh, I've heard of that one, but I've never played it.
Light gun games. Really good.
Yeah, really fun light gun game. This one actually came on 2 discs in this tiny little case.
So those are like 1v1 like versus.
Oh, it comes with Ridge Racer Type 4. Ridge Racer.
Ridge Racer.
That's cool. It doesn't even say on the front cover it has Ridge Racer.
Random.
So let's just throw in Ridge Racer and they can discover it. And final one for today. I showed this one off last week briefly. It is Porsche Challenge. Absolutely love this game.
That was a solid game back in the day. I liked that one and Porsche Unleashed. I had both of them.
Yeah, me too. Solid titles. They were Need for Speed games, but every single car in the game was a Porsche game, and you started with like a basic Porsche, and you worked your way up to the fastest Porsches in the game.
Yeah, that was so much fun. The career mode in that game was solid.
Yeah, fantastic. So you guys might have seen I'm wearing a Star Wars shirt. You pick up some Star Wars stuff this week. So got the OG trilogy on DVD.
Ooh.
Is that
I need to binge watch those movies again. I haven't watched them so long.
Unmessed with version, or is that have all those?
How do you tell? It feels like it's an old one.
I don't know. I don't know if you know. Did they ever release it on DVD without it being all screwed with? As far as I know, the only way you can get the original cut is like on VHS.
So if you look at this has got the old logo, and Australia changed in 2004. So these would have been from like 2003.
Well, all I know is
2004 on it, so they're pretty old. Yeah, it's the
I wouldn't
original.
know too much about it. I think the only way you can really find out is if you do like
Yeah,
a
you can
serial
watch them.
search on it and see what it says about it.
every time I watch Return of the Jedi and they get to that stupid scene where they have that song with the aliens singing, and it's like, I'm just like cringe and I just shake my head and I'm like, oh my God, I would literally pay to have someone edit this out of the fucking movie. It's so bad. Sorry.
You're up, Joe.
Oh my God. All right. Let's just talk about how much I hate that scene in Star Wars for another 10 minutes. Goodness. All right. So I got a bunch of cool stuff.
AJ said there's no version on DVD that isn't edited. You need the original.
Oh, they're even on. Wow, so even on DVD, huh? That sucks.
I can get over all the edits. None of them really bother me except for that song, man. Like, you guys just watch Return of the Jedi again if you haven't seen it in a while. And when you get to that scene,
you've ruined it.
You will immediately know. You'll be like, "Oh God, this is
Joe,
so bad."
Why is this in this movie?
It's so awkward. It's like literally like whose idea was this? Who thought this was a good idea? Smack this person. Like, I don't care if it was George Lucas, whoever thought that was a good idea. You are wrong. Flat out wrong. Incorrect. Anyway, Full Void on the Evercade. So it's a random one. I don't post a lot of Evercade pickups, but this is like I wouldn't call it survival horror, but it's like a horror thriller type adventure type game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how else to describe it. I'm not doing a great job, but it's got like really amazing art style, and I don't know, it just looks really intriguing to me. I think Reggie might have showed it off either on this podcast or on one of his pickups videos. He got like I think he did it in his latest video with him with a Metal Jesus. He has like the collector's edition, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, this game looks awesome. And as far as I know, I think the only physical release for this game is on the Evercade. I don't think it got released physically on any other system. So that's really cool.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. If you, I think Evercade needs more stuff like this because this will give people a reason to buy the damn thing. Although it's a good deal anyway, like if you want to collect things physically. So this got sent to me. I did a trade with Reggie, and he sent me this copy of Sense.
Very nice.
Yeah, the limited edition for Play Asia. This is another like creepy horror game. It's more like a story-driven game. But like I don't know what it is, but like this PS4 version, I feel like it's a lot harder to find than the Switch version. So like I think you can still get the Switch version on Play Asia's website, but I don't think they have the PS4 versions anymore. I could be wrong. I haven't checked it in a while, but
yeah,
I feel like this version is a lot harder to find. And I'm kind of I want to go for like all horror titles on the PS4, and I have all the ones that are like, you know, definitely horror. This is like one of those like, is it? Do you really, you know, it's creepy, it's spooky, but is it horror? One of those games. I don't know. Depends on what your definition is. Basically, if it's even like in the ballpark, I'm kind of going for stuff like that. So I'm really happy to have this. So thank you, Reggie.
that's very nice, man. That really is.
Yeah, I'm super stoked, and it comes with a soundtrack and stuff too. Speaking of weird horror games, I got this from Limited Run. This is called The Church in the Darkness. And this is like it's like another story-driven type game more than anything, but it's about joining a cult down in South America. And do you guys know what Jonestown is, or have you ever heard of Jonestown or know what Jonestown is? Even? Okay, so basically this guy like Jim Jones started a cult and took a bunch of people down to South America, to Guyana, or I think it is. It's like next to Venezuela. I think it's Guyana. Is how you say it. I don't know. And they built like a little village in the middle of the woods, and it all started getting weird, and a bunch of people wanted to leave, and then he basically forced them all to drink Kool-Aid, and they killed them all and murdered everybody. It's pretty crazy.
Wow.
And a lot of people like to talk about it like it was like a mass suicide event, but it really wasn't. Like he basically forced everyone to drink the poison, and he murdered everybody because there were people standing around with machine guns. basically being like, better drink it. So it's
Did he not drink
Yeah.
it himself as well?
I think he did. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did.
Oh, okay. Well,
No, yeah, they all died. And they killed they shot some reporters and killed like a congressman, and it's wild. It's a wild story. It's a crazy story in real life. And anyway, this
it's
is
a true
loosely,
story, too, so,
yeah,
Loosely based on it.
Yeah, so like, and like I said, if it's kind of creepy and horror-esque, whatever you want to say, like I'm kind of going for it. And so, yeah, definitely a cool one. Came from Limited Run Games. So speaking of Limited Run Games, I got the Persona 4 Goldens came in finally.
Very nice.
Yeah. So I picked him up. They did all kill all the babies as well, AJ. Yeah. They killed them first. And they took the kids out of the mother's arms. It's terrible, man. I don't know why we're talking about this. It's way too dark.
It genuinely surprised me that Atlas let Limited Run print their game. I'm just really surprised by that.
It's very, very nice.
It's gonna get used to it. I feel like what's going to happen in the future is like all physical releases are going to get put out through these companies like this, and we're going to have to wait 6 months to a year to get a physical copy of our games that we want to play. So we'll have to double dip. We'll have to buy the game digitally to play it, and then a year or two later, if you really want a physical copy, that you can get one. So Limited Run Games now, I just want to say, once we get to April, I'll have an order from them that is 2 years old. So I just want to say
2 years old?
Yes, once April, it is officially 2 years since I've ordered Espegaluda 2 from them, and I haven't gotten it. So I'm just gonna say that is 2 years is when I start complaining. So
Usually the Twitter post from Hard Copy Games this week.
Hard Copy Games?
First Press Games. I get them all mixed up.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about.
So the scammer ones. Took everyone's money. They showed the printing process on some game started, and they literally just showed boxes of artwork, and that was it.
Oh, they do that all the time. They've done that a million times. We'll see how that goes. I did get it. Yeah, of course. I did get an email from Strictly Limited Games too, saying that 5-6 games from them are supposedly shipping this summer. We'll see. Like my Rays chronology, that's another one. Like that, that Rays set that came out, that shmup that had Ray Force and Ray Storm on it. That's been out for how long has that been out for? Yeah, I still haven't gotten my Strictly Limited version.
Wow.
Like they haven't shipped theirs yet. Like theirs went up for pre-order before any of those ever came up for pre-order. Now all those games have come out and been out forever, and you can get them for cheap. They're on sale, for God's sake. They're getting clearanced out, and I still haven't gotten mine.
When summer's over, Joe, you'll get an email from them saying, "Oh, we meant Southern Hemisphere summer. Sorry."
Whatever. It's fine. And then no offense to Strictly Limited, but their new game that they announced, if they think that's the game that's going to bring in a lot of money to save them, they're wrong. Game it's not. It looks.
Is Strictly Limited the games not doing very well?
They have some games that are just stinkers that are not selling at all, I feel. And then that's really messed them up. They put out an email basically saying certain games really underperformed or underwhelmed or blah, 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 blah. So basically there were some undesirable titles they released that screwed them over. And I saw that coming. I called that out.
Their fault. That's not.
They started releasing.
Fault.
No. And they started releasing it. They had a stretch where they announced a bunch of they were doing just a bunch of shmups. Can't go wrong, baby. Shmups all day. I'll buy those. They'll always sell.
You've got an audience that will buy every shmup.
Yeah.
There's people out there that will buy your games.
Yeah, and so they
got to realize that they're competing with all these other companies. So if Limited Run's putting out Persona 4, then they mightn't buy your game that month because they're buying Persona on the Switch and the PS4.
Yeah, that's why Limited Run is so successful, because they're bringing out games people want that are desired. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
correct. And I think Strictly Limited thought that the people who were buying all their shmups just were buying all their games because they love Strictly Limited, and that's not the case. You release a stinker, I'm not buying it.
I don't think I've ever bought a Strictly Limited game before. Now that I think about it.
Oh, I have some cool games. They have a lot of excellent games. I don't want to. I actually love. Like I said, they've released a lot of awesome shmups. So I'm a huge fan overall. I just want them to send the games I
ordered.
Send me what I paid for. That's the only problem. I like what they have. So I picked this up just because this I've been meaning to get this forever, and the sequel just got announced, and I just how Switch is like I just want to get it and be sooner than later. So I got the Neo Geo Pocket Color Selection Volume 1. There's Volume 2 just got announced as well. I think it's already out, but Volume 2. So this has got released on limited run. I think this was limited run. No, could be wrong. I thought this was, but maybe it isn't. I don't see that on there. Anyway,
Maybe
it's
it
got
was
a
done
website.
through their website, but wasn't official or something.
Maybe, I don't know. It doesn't say it on or anywhere, but they this only got a ESRB release for the first game. I don't think the second game has an ESRB release yet announced. I think you can only get like the Asian version or the Japanese version or the Asian version, or there's a PAL version from Pix and Love or something, I believe, or maybe Fan Game. I think it's Pix and Love. Either way, I'm going to pick up the sequel too. These games are like, they're Neo Geo Pocket games ported onto the Switch, but like, I just like, if you bought these Neo Geo Pocket games, like if I wanted to collect these and buy these physically, it would be so much money to get these these games. So I'm just like, man, I just kind of want these because if I ever want to own Neo Geo Pocket physically, like this is the way to go. This is the way to go for sure for me, because I'm not going to go try to track them down all individually and pay up the butt for them, especially because I'll probably play this like an hour total of my entire life. Let's be real. I'm just being real. I'll be like, oh, this is cool. And then I'll put something else on. So speaking of Prince of Persia, I picked this up too. So I bought in the PS4 version a little while ago, but like, for some reason, the Switch version wasn't on sale on Amazon. It was on sale on Best Buy, so I had to do separate orders. So I bought this from Best Buy, and I got this too for $30. Looking forward to playing this. I think I'm actually going to play the Switch version instead of the PS4 version. Keep the PS4.
Yeah, it's a type of game I'd play on the Switch as well.
And I heard it runs really well on the Switch too. So like, not everything stuck's on the Switch. I heard this actually runs great. So
that's good.
I mean, it's a platformer. It should. I'd be worried if that didn't run great on the Switch. Right?
Trust me, I'd be too. And then I got Wild Hearts on the PS5. This was on sale for $19.99. So that's the perfect
I actually
price
was going to get that at a Walmart yesterday, and then turn around and it was gone. Somebody picked it up.
Dude, so $20. Looks fun, man.
It kind of reminds me of what is it?
Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter.
So you got that at Walmart yesterday.
God Wars or God Eater. Yeah.
God Eater, yeah. Well, I've been buying like the God Eater games and like the Monster Hunter type games and those types of, I don't know, boss oriented whatever games.
There's another one, Tokenin. That's what it also reminded me of, Tokenin.
So it's so funny you mentioned that, as I just ordered Tokenin 2. That's like one of the things I just bought.
I've had Tokenin 2 for years. It's actually really solid. I've played through that game. It's really solid.
It is.
They were
like talking about it until after I ordered it. It's actually moderately valuable too. Like it's not like super expensive. It's another one of those games that hasn't lost its value. It's been out for a while and it still sells for $40-$50. Like,
and I think Tokenin Kiwami is like a better version of Tokenin, I think. Because there's the original Tokenin and Tokenin Kiwami. Which I do own on Vita.
Yeah, there's the Vita version, but I don't know what the difference is. And then this is the best game I got this week for sure. I finally picked this up. I've been meaning to get this forever, dude. So
that's a good game, dude. That game is crazy. Wasn't it like a Xbox game or something in Japan originally?
PS2 or Xbox or something like that. Yeah,
it didn't come out here, but it's based on American president or something like.
Correct. Yeah, it's like yes, you fight in mech suits and you fight this guy who's like the president of the United States, but it's completely
it's freaking crazy, hardcore, crazy story.
So it's a From Software game too. So that's
it is. Before they just feel like all the popular games.
They From Software is just going to be one of those desirable companies to collect for. Just like I think like all the Armored Core games, everything they've done. I think
the only game that won't be
even Kingsfield is expensive now. Kingsfield's not the funnest game. I don't know why.
People just want to go back and play.
The only game that might not be popular from Software is what is it? It's on Xbox and PS3.
The Lost. Another
Enchanted Arms.
Enchanted Arms. That's it.
Yeah, that won't be popular.
But you say that now. I would have said Armored Core 5 years ago, and look at it now.
All
Maybe
right,
one
so
day Enchanted Arms would be like, "Hey, you have to play this JRPG, Enchanted Arms from
It's
software."
from software. You'll love it. I promise you. Then it'd be like, oh God, no.
So I love this podcast so much because it just really helps me with my addictions. It really does. Let me just tell you. So I'm going to show you all my new PlayStation magazines because this is my new addiction. I'm so addicted to buying these. So I found a great deal on these, like really good price. Like it was on Mercari, and I kind of lowballed it, and they were like, whatever, take them. But this was great for what it is. So I upgraded this one. So I got one from Chaos, but it had like a big crease in it. So this one I got a nice, fresh, crispy copy of my Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Yeah, dude, this lot was real crispy. Like these are like very nice condition. So that's why I jumped on it. And it had some cool ones in here. Like I had to have these. Let me see. I don't want to dox whoever these people. I had Kratos, baby. Dude, I just live for the artwork, man. I love these, dude. And I love, the PS1's retired. Oh, like I love the capture and times, the moment in times. I love when they're like, will Final Fantasy 8 be any good? I'm like, oh man, I wish I was back then sitting there like waiting for Final Fantasy 8. Oh, dude, I was so pumped for games back then. I'll never feel that way again. I was excited for Final Fantasy Rebirth, but never like that. So yeah, this one's pretty badass, dude. You gotta have it, dude. Def Jam, awesome, man.
That is a beautiful cover, man. Look at that, Snoop Dogg on there. Look at that. Looking fresh.
Dude, I love. Oh, I get it. I don't know. Whatever.
I mean, that was a big selling game. It makes sense.
That was Def Jam
yeah.
2. Little did they realize now that game's worth a lot of money.
Yeah, dude.
And look at the other games on the front cover: Metal Gear Solid 3, Ratchet and Clank 3, Jack 3.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like these are like coming soon, freaking it's like the new series Devil May Cry. Have you ever heard of it? It's like, oh man, that's so cool. So this one too, I got Mortal Kombat Deception.
Very nice.
Time Splitters 3, guys. Here comes the first news.
I want to know what number 1 was on the top 10 game series of all time.
I just think I love this shit. We've been waiting for Time Splitters 3 since how long?
Yeah, they showed that and it never came to fruition.
No.
That's crazy.
I love stuff
Good
like
morning,
that.
Mike.
What up, Mike? All right, so this one right here, for some reason, it's one of the most popular covers. I can't really put my finger on why, but the Rumble Roses cover, this is a solid one.
Very cool.
I don't know if you're familiar with that game, but it's like a wrestling game, I'm pretty sure, with hot waifus.
It's got Snake Eater secrets in it, of course.
I've seen it. I've seen it a few times in stores, but I never played it.
I don't. Did it get a Western release? It must have, right? It must have. I don't know.
No, it did. It did. It got a Western release. It's just a very uncommon game to see. I've seen it only a few times.
So they also had this in the lot, which like I said, I don't see this very often, so I'm super happy to grab this too. They have some code books. They have PlayStation Magazine came out with.
I remember those.
So this is the 2002 edition. So it gives you a bunch of codes for PS2, PS Magazine, all stuff you can.
Over 11,000 codes.
I still have my Game Shark CD for PS1.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, so you can Google it or whatever, but how is it as cool as being like, hold on,
no,
like looking
it's not as cool as having that. No,
no,
it's not. The nostalgia's not there unless you have the book in front of you.
Yes.
It makes it just more interesting.
So these are the ones that I'm really excited about because I remember if I told you this. Remember I was saying like it's super rare to find them with the advertisement still attached.
Yeah,
dude, this lot had a whole bunch. So I picked up that with these advertisements still on there. Like, dude, these are you just don't see them.
Things are they like magazine protectors? Or?
Yeah. So it's got like a hard covered back and it's resealable, and it just kind of keeps them from getting any more damaged. But yeah, so this is the Resident Evil Outbreak cover one, but it's got the lowrider. Oh my god, I can't do it. The lowrider attachment.
Somebody
like,
back
you
then,
never see these, dude, like this.
Somebody back then bought those and immediately put them in there. They didn't even have any. Their intentions were to keep.
Well, I put them in the cases. I buy all the cases. For
them. Okay.
But like, yeah, they're great shape though. Like overall, I mean, all these magazines are like 15, 20 years old. So
I still
so
have my Game Informer magazines from the early
But these-
2000s still. I still
that
got
one's
them.
pretty dope. I got a lot of. This one's really cool too. Like this is the Manhunt one, and
That's
that's
really
got the 13 on it. Yeah, dude.
Releasing
Like I'm
fall 2003.
Yeah, dude. And yeah, like Resident Evil Outbreaks coming out, Need for Speed Underground, the first one. Amazing graphics that will blow past Midnight Club 2, boys. Wait till you see Need for Speed Underground. Oh man, and I love Need for Speed Underground. Was it better than Midnight Club 2 though? I don't know. I like Midnight Club quite a bit. But yeah, dude, this one's solid, dude. This one, like, it's the Manhunt one. I don't see this magazine often anyway, and to have it with this thing on there, I'm like so stoked to get this one. So this is the GoldenEye one that has the Tom Clancy Ghost Recon advertisement on it.
Those are really cool, man. I love the art of those. All those
sick,
are pretty cool.
Gosh, I don't even remember which one this one is. Like one of the car ones. Probably I could take it out. This is the Sphinx one. Like
Are these mostly upgrades for you, or are they all new ones?
Three were upgrades. So I have some duplicates now. So now I'm starting to build a dupe box. So I'll have some trades or ready if anybody wants any or wants to buy them or whatever. I'll just sell them on eBay. Yeah. And this is like I think SOCOM.
I actually have a Game Informer magazine with that cover of Prince of Persia, but it's the full cover art of it.
I mean, I could take them out and show you like all the whole things. Like this one's really cool. Like this is one of the better ones I'm really pleased about too. So this is the Devil May Cry with the Blood Omen ads, and I freaking love Legacy of Kain. Like it's one of my favorite series, and I love Devil May Cry. So that's the full Devil May Cry.
Oh, that's very cool.
And that's sick artwork.
Devil May Cry.
You can see why the ads aren't on
full review and strategy guide for the first game. Like, you know, like, dude. Yeah, and it is like you said, like it's like they're so rare to have the ads still attached because they're kind of in the way. So, like I said,
they're like more
really
than 20
happy
years old at this point. That's crazy.
To get them. Let me just put that down for now. And then here's another Devil May Cry one, but look at that advertisement for Van Helsing.
Oh, Van Helsing, look at that.
Sick, dude. Yeah, dude, that's cool in the magazine cover. Like that ad's sick, man.
And they don't really do ads like that anymore. They don't really put like, you know, gory stuff on front covers anymore like that.
And then for some reason they had this in it. I don't even know what. This is not even the PlayStation magazine. They just threw this in there, but it had Maxima. I like Maxima.
Oh my God, the tips and tricks books. I forgot about those.
So
that was a popular thing back then too.
Star Wars Rogue Leader exclusive codes. Everybody wants them.
I miss the days of code and trick books and stuff.
Dude, I love this. Like I said, it's my new addiction, and like, you know, these things are like a freaking time portal. They're a time machine.
Back in the
like
past,
you open these things up and you're reading the articles, and it's about, you know, whether, you know, would there be a new
all about the articles, right? You're not looking at the photos, Joe.
Well, they do have swimsuit editions, which those are probably going to be the most expensive
I'm just reading
ones.
the articles.
You just watch. The video game swimsuit edition ones will be all the expensive ones because everybody's a perv.
Yeah, I could definitely see those being like really pricey, really expensive. Yeah.
Some of them are. Some of them aren't. It depends on. So like obviously like the first like 4 or 5 issues are very expensive. So the very first one is Final Fantasy VII. That one's expensive. I think the second one's Castlevania Symphony of the Night. That one's very expensive. Third one's like Mega Man, I think, or something like that. But yeah, the first few are expensive. And then,
have you got those ones?
No, I don't. I don't have 1 or 2. I think I have 3, 4, and 5 though. But I don't have 1 and 2. I don't have the most expensive ones. I just started collecting them and whatever. Like if I'm hoping in my mind some way, somewhere, somehow I'll actually stumble across them for a cheap price because someone will like not care or either know.
Look at these magazines I'm throwing out. You want to take them to the bin for me? Yeah, sure. It's like,
exactly. I'll be at the dump someday and I'll just see them on the table. I'll be like, oh
and they got the advertisement on them somehow.
Dude, yeah. So the advertisements are, I think, increased it. So there's a couple when it comes to these, there's some things I noticed. The advertisements are really cool. They make them a little more valuable, in my opinion, if you have those. If they have the inserts, so some of them come with memory card stickers Some of them carved with these lid stickers, they're called. So they were like stickers that go on the PlayStation 1 lid, that circle, like they fit on that. And then some of them came with like cards you can punch out, posters. They have posters inside them. So if they have that stuff in them, that makes them more valuable. And then the other thing I've noticed is that there's like there's the versions that were like sold in the store and then ones that got mailed to people. So for example, like this one, I find this one more desirable because it has no mailing thing on it. You know what I mean? Whereas like this one got mailed to someone, it's got this stupid thing printed on it. Like, and that's not a sticker, that's like on the cover.
Oh, that sucks.
So I mean, it doesn't like, it depends on how picky you want to be, but to me, like, this is like the prime.
But the other one looks like it was picked up from a news agency or something.
Yeah, so this would have been bought at a store. Like, it would have been sold at a shop or at an airport or some shit like that. And, it doesn't have anything on it. So to me, like, I think these are the most desirable because they're just like, you get the full artwork. You don't have anything on there. You don't have somebody's weird name on here. Like, who the fuck is no, I'm not going to dox you guys and say your
I just
names.
want to touch on a comment quickly that Mike said. They were trying to scam me for fake Silent Hill. And I do remember going on this website and they had the Silent Hill collection for sale. Like, completely fake. So yeah, that's another one to watch out for as well. I do recall seeing Kuon on there. I haven't seen fake Kuons pop up yet.
Those are very nice magazines, man. Those are really cool.
Thanks. Yeah, like I said, I try to grab them here or there. They're fun, man. It's rare to see a big bundle where I need so many of them. That's why I was excited too. Like, I see a lot where like, some people are crazy. They're like, what, $40? I'm like, out of here, dude. I'm not giving you $40 for this build magazine.
It's definitely understandable, man. When you consider how old they are, to find them in that shape.
Maybe number one, maybe number two. All right, I get it. You know what I mean? Those are worth a little bit, but I'm not. Some people are like, it's
I got issue number 247 ripped in half.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the ones that came out in like the end of the magazine's life in like 2006 and stuff. I'm like, they're not as cool and they're not as worth as much. I just don't care as much. It's the early ones, like during PS1 and PS2. Those are the ones. Anyway.
Where do you go first?
Alrighty, so let me show you what I got. To add to Persona 4 Golden, I have Persona 3 Portable.
Nice.
This is my favorite. I didn't get Persona 4 Golden just because I have it on Vita. But
yeah, I have it on Vita too. I own it 3 times now because
I really
I'm a sane.
I really do like this a lot. That's number one. I forgot to turn that off. That's why I keep popping up.
So be careful.
So next game I got here is actually the one that I've been really wanting to get from Japan. Took 10 years to find, and that is Racing Lagoon.
Oh wow, dude, that's sick, dude.
Very rare game. JRPG racing game. And this is the one that was developed by the same team that developed Final Fantasy 7 and 8. It actually uses the materia system and the junction system from the games for the racing elements. And you have random encounters like a JRPG. It does a whole like swoosh screen and loads into the race, just like a JRPG. Its CGI is really unique. Not the most amazing CGI for the time period. 8 had better CGI, but it's a really cool concept. And what I also like most about the game is the disc itself is really pretty.
Nice, I like that. It's like
I've heard of that game.
It's a beautiful game. Like it absolutely is like amazing for a SquareSoft JRPG. A one-off racing game is just unheard of to me.
Did that get a fan translation ever?
It does. Full English fan translations, complete and available.
That's sick. Yeah, I've heard of that game. It's supposed to be like incredibly good. Like when people say it's one of the ones.
It's very good. It's a really good game. It absolutely is.
It's like Initial D, but an RPG, basically, right? Isn't that like a combination?
Full-fledged story mode, full-fledged. Like it literally feels like you're playing a Final Fantasy game. There's actually references to Final Fantasy 7 and 8 in the game, which is really cool.
Did you guys ever play Initial D or play?
I do. I actually have Initial D on PS3.
Okay, dude, I loved Initial D.
And another one that's similar to that is Wang and Midnight. I have that also.
Yeah, that one's great as well.
So
sick, dude. That's a nice pickup, man.
Game that I have is by Axis that got published here. It is Undernot's Labyrinth of Yomi.
Hell yeah, man.
Nice.
Let's go.
This is a really cool first-person dungeon crawler,
Hell yeah, it is.
and I absolutely really like this game a ton. Now, I'm gonna get to the stuff that I really, really think you guys are gonna really like. So we're gonna get these out of the way, but I do have a pre-order item with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It was not the collector's because I didn't want it, unfortunately. Obviously, I got the game. But what I got really lucky to get is the hat for it.
Nice, dude.
Are you guys frozen or is it just me?
That's just you. We're good.
So yeah, this was really cool to get my hands on this hat. I don't know if Fizzy could see it, but yeah, that's the pre-order hat for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
That's fire. I was literally just saying to myself, I need to get a new hat. My Evil Dead 2 hat's like starting to get to that point where I'm like, oh man, I need to get a new hat. It's like wear it all out, all the paint's coming off.
So this next game right here was by a single person who developed it from South Korea. And it ended up being a very, very successful release. And I think a lot more people should give this game a chance. This is Internights.
Nice, dude.
So this is actually about a kid who ends up in a situation where the whole planet is about to be killed off by the undergods. And he ends up getting a power that allows him to kill off the humans who have transformed into these monster creatures. And these are the last humans remaining on the planet who can stop it, revert everybody back to normal. It does take place in South Korea. And there is a persona-like storytelling to this where you can have a social link, you can develop friends, you can actually date one of the girls in the game depending on preference-wise. It is a very action-based game. The story is actually outstanding. I really like the gameplay a lot. It's very challenging and it's extremely difficult, but the game is really good for a guy who really developed it on his own by himself. Did a real good job with this. This is a really good. Really good
I've
game.
heard nothing but good things about that game.
Internights is outstanding. It's very, very out. That game to me is gonna be one of those like really rare games in the future because of just how
type game.
Just the elements to it. You can only really relate it to Persona.
Yeah, he actually got. There's actually a Reddit post where he talks about where he got his ideas from, and it ended up being a mesh of everything positive. He did a good job with it. He really thought it through. So I got to give the guy props. I really do.
Yeah, Reggie was recommending it as well. He said it was excellent.
So this is actually Kimco. Oh God, I can't even Kimco. Here we go.
They can. They have some good ones.
They do.
Crosstails is fantastic. If you've played Crosstails,
this is one of the holdouts left of when Limited Run was doing the cards for the games because they don't do them anymore. But this card is really nice. So, I don't know much about this game. This is one of the more recent ones that I picked up, but I was like intrigued because there's a store called Founded in Texas. They have nothing but Kimco RPGs. They have every one of them, so I can literally go buy all of them, just build my whole collection. So I'm probably going to do that. So you can probably see more of these in the future from me because I really think.
Well, we laugh now, but they are RPGs, and you know how people are with collecting RPGs. And someday those will probably be. We all made fun of them, and everybody laughed, and nobody wanted to buy them. But wait, someday they'll be expensive, and all of a sudden, everyone was like, these games are actually really good. Now that they're worth a lot of money, suddenly I like them. I don't know what it is. They were terrible when they were cheap, but
you get that feeling. You go back to you like, you know what? It's not as bad as
great.
We'll make it out to be, and that's only how it happens. But the next game here, obviously, I can't hide this box. There's no way I can, even if I wanted to surprise it. So I did pick up Persona 3 Reloads box set.
Hell yeah.
And obviously, I'm about 60 or 50 hours into the game, and I absolutely have a freaking blast with this game. And apparently, the soundtrack to the digital version is terrible. It's in an app. This actually has a physical CD release. which means that I can actually play it like a normal CD and not through an app. So this is the way to go for the soundtrack, and which is absolutely beautiful. Um, I absolutely am having so much fun with Persona 3. It made me realize why Persona 3 is my favorite in the series. It's still my favorite in the entire series of Persona. I like it more than 5, I like it more than 4. It is my absolute favorite. And the remake really did do a lot of things, like improve the social links, improved um, conversations that are now fully voiced. You have more different like abilities in the game. Like characters can actually work together in tag team fight. Some of the personas in the game you can combine them together to do special abilities, which was not in the original. There's this thing where you can level up characters. Like say you have your preferred set of characters you like to play with in the game, you can actually level them up to current level in the game. They design it to where they're not far behind if you need to use them at any point. So they did a lot of quality of life improvements in this version that I really, really think makes this a definitive version of Persona 3 in many ways. And I honestly, I had so much fun playing it. I hadn't had this much fun playing a RPG since the original Persona 3. It really made me appreciate the series a lot, the franchise a lot more.
I think that's
Like
going to be the next RPG I play because I'm going to
Frankie
finish Final
said,
Fantasy
quality
7.
of life personas. Exactly.
I want to. I was going to either play that or Grand Link, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. But I think I want to take. I'm playing Rebirth now, and I think I want to take a break from the action combat, play like turn-based combat, and then go back and play the action combat.
It's a good kind of way to kind of
nice, refreshing. Yeah.
Have you played much Rebirth throughout the
up a little bit?
I think I'm like on chapter 9. I'm like almost done the golden saucer, whatever that is, or whatever. I'm almost done that. Not as much as I want. My work has been like just so busy, and I've been working late and been tired, and I feel bad like making my girlfriend watch me play that every day for like 2 weeks. So like today I was like, okay, we could like
so to mention what they said in the chat about the DLC. So originally when Persona 3 came out, they had a version that was called FES. Back in the day, they didn't have the ability to do DLC like they do now. So what they did, they re-released the original game with the after story. So it follows Aegis, who is one of the characters in the game, who takes over the story of the main character. I'm not going to spoil all that, but suffice to say, she's the main character of the DLC. And there's a lot of loose ends that need to be tied up for the main story. So when you play the answer, it ties up anything that may have been unanswered, and expands on more of the what ifs and the how tos to the overall package of the game. So it's a important DLC. It's not like a DLC where you're like, I can pass on it. No, it's if you enjoy the main story of Persona 3, I do recommend you playing the answer for that reason. I'm hoping the quality of life improvements on this version of the game improves on the ability to enjoy the answer a lot more, because the original one was extremely difficult to the point where when I got to the final boss, I was not able to beat the final boss because of just how unbalanced the difficulty was in the answer. So they actually acknowledged that it was unbalanced. So they are going back and tweaking those issues with the DLC. So
for me, I'm kind of a Persona noob. Like I've played a little bit of 4, and I played 5, and I haven't even played 3 yet. So I'm like really, really excited to play this remake.
I really do think, Joe, and there's a reason why there's a reason why Atlas remade the game, because when you play Persona 3, there is a vibe to this game that just does not exist in 4 and 5. It takes itself extremely seriously to where the tone of everybody in the game is more realistic, because there's all different walks of life of characters that they all have one similar thing in mind, which I'm not going to spoil that one similar. When you play it, you'll know what I mean. It
they all like pineapple on pizza,
huh?
They all like pineapple on pizza.
No,
Sorry, don't listen to me. Go
it,
ahead.
it really is. It does tie into the story. I wish I could tell you, but it ties into
No, don't tell me.
why.
Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Don't tell me.
Yeah, it ties into why I like the game so much, because when you see why they can relate to each other, you appreciate them more so, like the time they spend together with each other for that semester. And then one of the reasons I actually gravitate to this game more, because I think Atlas did a really damn good job making this game feel more relatable to people, and the characters are more relatable. Not to say that Persona 4 and 5's characters are not relatable or not funny or not interesting.
Oh, I
but
was hooked on 5. Like 5 was a trip for me, man. Like it was an experience. I'd never played a game like that in my life. Like I literally felt like it was such a unique experience playing through Persona 5 for the
Yeah.
first time as an RPG fan. Like I had no idea what to expect other than everyone was raving that there's a new turn-based RPG that's amazing. And that was just music to my ears. I've talked about this before where like I was like the old stick in the mud where it was like, I like turn-based. I like the old style. I don't like this new stangled fangled action crap that kids use these days with their wizardy doos and their wajimy do. I don't I want the old
Now
school.
I will admit,
So I was so excited about that.
I will admit that when you play 3, you're going to have to go into the game with the mindset that it's going to feel, even with the remaster, it's going to feel a little slow and a little dated.
Yeah,
by
of course.
comparison.
I'm real. Yeah, I play old games all the time, and I have a very like realistic approach to what I'm gonna get when I play an old game. So.
Yeah, but when you get past that and actually get into the story, it's going to really ramp up. And once it does, you'll really see why myself and many other people have a soft spot for 3, because it truly felt like Atlas was going in another direction to make the series more relatable to people. And I think in the process, they were able to manage to make something even more exceptional as the series went on. And I honestly appreciate them going back and giving 3 the quality of life improvements it needed to be on the same level with 4 and 5, because while 3 had a great story, its gameplay was just dated. And I think it needed that extra love and attention that the other 2 games have to bring it more into the modern era for people to really see where the 3-dimensional Persona series really started. And 3 really was that push, because Persona 1 and 2 are not considered everyone's favorite. It's its own thing.
I agree with you. They're not. They're
really
like
not,
totally
no.
a different vibe than 3, 4, and 5 are.
They are. Now, don't get me wrong. That's the old generation of Persona fans, and you got to respect where the series started. So while I'm not a big fan of them, I appreciate them for what they've brought to the series currently.
If they got a remake,
I do
that'd be
respect
cool.
them for
I
that.
think. Yeah, I mean, if they got like a whole worked from the reground up and made it like a remake for 1 and 2, I think that could
They
be cool.
wanted, actually, they did mention they want to do a collection of them. They want to bring them over to consoles, but I do not think they're going to get any full remaster or remake. Like they might get
they
what
might as well
Persona
make
4.
Persona
I'm
6.
sorry,
I can see
they
4
might
getting
get
a
what Persona 4
remake
Golden and
treated.
yeah, they might do a console port, physical for it, just not doing a whole remake of them. So here's the
pack together or something.
Yeah. So here's the next game that I got. This is actually
I'd be fine with that, just by the way, because 1 and 2 are insanely expensive. So
I do have 1 and 2.
They did a straight port. They put them on a disc and threw them on the PS4.
Yeah,
I would be totally cool.
1 and 2 are extremely expensive, especially 2. Especially 2. If you get part 1, was it the one that's on PS1 extremely expensive, and then even the PSP version of the remake of it is expensive.
Yeah, I got the PSP ones. I have 1, 2, and 3 on the PSP. Yeah. I was very pleased to get those, and I'm happy with that.
Yeah. So the next game I got today. This is actually today, like literally before I got home. So I don't know nothing about it. The collector's edition of Made in Abyss by Spike Chunsoft. And this was $60, and it has a cloth poster of the front cover, and it has a the book with how the monsters that you have to fight. It's a big journal log. It's really, really cool. It's based on the anime. Um, and there's actually a kind of one-to-one recreation of the anime. And Made in Abyss is the hardcore mode, which is extremely difficult from my understanding. Like the death rate in this game is extremely high. It's extremely hard. So I had to have it because it's survival horror type of dungeon crawling. Even though it looks like a kid's game, it's
That
mature
seems
as
like a
you
lot
can
of fun, to be honest.
see. So
What kind of dungeon?
it's
Is it
extremely difficult.
first person or is it like top down dungeon crawling?
No, it's actually it's 3D. I know it's kind of hard to see it on my. It's a
Yeah.
3D kind of style game.
Yeah.
As you
I
can
mean,
see,
I'm
found it
interested
where
in
I
this.
bought it.
I love
from.
shit like this, dude. I love like these weird RPGs.
That place that Reggie talks about. Was it Found It? That's where I got it from.
Nice.
So, but yeah,
I'll check that
honestly,
out.
I had to have this, and then you can't buy these anymore. I tried going online to get it; it's sold out. I had to get it second. That's technically new, but it's secondhand new.
Did they have just a standard release, or did it only come out in that?
No, it came out with a standard. No, I think it only came out in that box set. I think.
Oh, goddamn
I'm pretty sure.
it! Sorry, go ahead, Fixie.
Mario
the
said he
next
didn't know
game
they
that I
had
have-
exclusive systems, and maybe it did have a standard release.
Oh yeah, you know what? It could have had a standard release, dude. I could be wrong, but everywhere I've tried finding it, I can't find it. So unfortunately, I had to buy it. Just the way it was.
Oh man, I love.
Now, Joe
obscure
did mention this
RPGs.
earlier about Grand Blue Fantasy, so I did end up getting the Grand Blue Fantasy
Ooh, let's go.
box
It's on
set. for it.
sale right now. It's on sale for like $80, I think. I'm thinking
I
about grabbing
freaking
it.
love this game.
I want to see if it'll go down to 50 though.
I cannot stress enough how amazing this is. This is
It does
so
look
much fun in a package, man. And here's another thing about this, dude. Like,
That's the perfect type of collector's edition. I love the size of that thing too. It's like
Yeah.
Look at
nice
this.
tight art book, CD game.
yeah,
nice,
the
beautiful
CD,
sleeve.
The CD itself
Ah,
is just
that is
Fits in the
perfect.
shelf.
phenomenal,
That's
man.
perfect. Yeah, that's
Perfect.
perfect.
And what's cool about the cover? I love the cover, the alternate cover for the game.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
It's look at this, man. That's the alternate cover for the game.
Yeah, that's cool. I love it.
Yeah, it's freaking amazing. This game is solid, extremely
yeah,
solid.
I'm definitely getting it. I just
And I really like. I'm really digging the Grand Blue franchise. I absolutely am. So Figsy, this last one I got, you're gonna like this because I really didn't think I was gonna get my hands on it until I did. This box is massive. Which dates. This is actually from a company called CMGE, which I don't even understand what that means. I've never heard of the company before. Let me put this to the side real quick. And it was also co-published by East Asia Soft, and Soft Star is the company. So here it is. Sword and Fury together.
nice.
Forever.
Oh, nice. Let's go.
So I really wanted to get my hands on this because it has a card game inside of it. There's what comes in it.
I was eyeballing that this week too. It's like on sale, but it's still like what 70, something like that, 60, 70. So it's a little on sale, but it is.
Here's what's funny.
Yeah,
I got this from GameStop. You know, GameStop normally open stuff. So what happened was they ended up getting this in the store, and a person pre-ordered it. Well, for some reason they sent them an extra one, and they ended up not selling it because it's not in the system. They couldn't sell it. The system wouldn't let them sell it. They ended up having to mark it down. So I ended up getting it for around $49.99 for this instead of paying the actual $100 price for it. So I was going to go on Amazon and buy it for $80, but when the lady told me they had one for $40, I was like, I'm going to jump on this.
That's I would jump on that immediately for that price. Look how gorgeous that is.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So I cannot wait. I honestly, dude, this did. And what's cool about this, I'd rather get this version because I found out this has the PS5 upgrade for free, which means that this is probably a more sought after version because it'll play on either generation than the PS5 version, which is why I decided to go with this. So I love it.
Not
and
alone
the
on that.
set and all that stuff in there, it's cool. So that's why I wanted it. And one last game. This was by Red Art Games, and I bought this at FX Game Exchange. It is a box set. It is actually a visual novel. It is called Shoshin.
Nice, that's good.
I have never
That's the
heard
red
of this.
box that it comes in. It almost looks
Yep.
like a Switch.
Yeah,
Red
the
Art
exclusive
Games.
editions they do are cool.
So it's a really, really cool visual novel. The synopsis is a young man who has recently started working as a guard after a long absence. He has returned home, but a series of dramatic events disturbs the tranquility of the village as people begin to mysteriously die off. So you're probably wondering, where does this take place? Can you guess? Looking at how they're dressed in here,
I'm gonna say Japanese. I mean,
it takes place in Korea before it was split in like the 14th century.
oh, that's right.
When
They
they
were in
weren't split,
14th
it was all Korea
century
as one.
hats. I remember that now from my
Yeah.
14th century Korean studies.
In 14th century Korea, this takes place. So think about what's interesting about this, and I hadn't thought about it, and I talked to Figsy about this, about China and all that there are more companies making games from Korea and games from China. And what's interesting about these games is that
Yes,
there has been a lot more releases like DNF Duel and Sword and Fairy. Like there are a lot of really good games being developed from China and from Korea and from Singapore, and they don't get a lot of. They get bundled up in the same vein as like Japanese style games, when in reality there's a lot of really good games.
And musical chairs.
Yeah, we never used this one. I figured I would just throw it on there for fun. Why not?
What happened?
Make Forrest the center of attention. You're
Oh,
you're the top of the food chain now. Oh shit, we're talking about PS4 now too. Bang, just like that. We switched generations.
but yeah, I mean, like there's just so many good games, man, like that are being developed from other places around the world that I'm really like opening. I'm opening my horizons with other developed games from other regions, because it's so much more potential to see and experience stories from other creators from around the world that we don't get an opportunity to play very often.
Well, it's cool that we get to today because of how easy it is to put out a game that's region free. You can get AI to put in different languages so it can be played in different countries and things like that. It's not like a mammoth task where you have to pay people to translate games anymore and things like that.
And then what is it? Speaker just mentioned Celeblade. That's actually a Korean game from South Korea. So yeah, that's what I mean. Like they're really getting the spotlight this year. They really are, and I think they need to get that spotlight. They need that attention, because there's a lot of really good creative developers in those countries that don't get the opportunity.
I think that people these days, right now, more than ever, are more interested in games coming out of Korea and Japan and China than anything coming out in the West. For at least me,
the West is just—I don't know. The Western game market is dying. It's not good, man.
I'm sick of post-apocalyptic dreary bullshit. Like I'm tired of that. Like dark
remaster of this remastered game.
Yeah,
I don't remaster and remake. Remaster of what is it? The Last of Us. We don't need another freaking.
No, Stella Blade's doing exactly what I want. Just give me a hot chick with a cool sword and have me blow shit up and have a good time. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking at. I don't want to learn a lesson or anything. I just want to have fun. Thanks.
Oh, person mentioned plushies. Actually, there's a plushie in Sword and Fairy's box. I actually got a plushie of a dragon from Little Dragon's Cafe, which is really cool.
I have that as well, actually.
Yeah, I really like that game. It's just a charming game.
Dude, I love Little Dragon's Cafe. I'm glad that you're talking about this.
Oh, dude, Little Dragon's Cafe is so good, man. That game is solid.
I bought both of the Story of Seasons, like special ones, to get the little plush.
I need to get that. Actually, I need to get that from Best Buy. Has the boxes.
So this one's got like a little plushy buffalo. I don't know if you can see him right down.
You can tell between the two boxes. The sealed one looks tight. That one looks like it's trying to expand.
Yeah. Once you open it, because of the plushie, it like expands out.
And this one's got like a little goat.
Look at the little cute plushie.
But like, dude,
reminds me of the plushie you get for Catherine. Catherine had a plushie too, in full body. That's so cool, man. It just, man, I tell you, I'm gonna post up in your stream in your forum area, Fixie, of the two other games I'm getting. So I guess I'll go ahead and spoil what they are. I'm getting the box set to Unicorn Overlord this weekend and No Name Varcommons box set for the visual novel. So they should be coming in on Saturday. My friend's been hyping up Unicorn Overlord. Says it's really good. So
I want to play it too. I mean, it's vanillaware. You know, what bad games have they put out?
Yeah.
I'd like to see. I don't trust any game reviewers at all. I only trust people who I know play like lots of games. Like you play lots of RPGs, so I want to know what you think of it. I do not care what any of these people online think for the most part. So I don't know. I always like only trust people's opinions for people who love the genre. You know what I'm saying? Like if a new Dark Souls, like I want to know what Figsy thinks of Lies of P. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like,
I was actually curious.
I want to know people who love that genre and who play those games a lot. Like, because a lot of people be like, oh, 6 out of 10, this thing sucks, blah, blah, blah. But like, you could be like, no, this is a great game. It's exactly like what I like. You know, these people are nuts. So,
or the opposite. I could be like, it's too easy. It sucks.
Yep, that's true.
And they'd be like,
It was awesome. You know, I beat it and I had so much fun. And
modern masterpiece. Like every game that comes out because they're just trying to sell copies. It's a modern masterpiece. Doesn't even freaking play on day one. It's broken.
We might call that one a night.
We should probably. Yeah, it's pretty.
Boris, thanks so much for coming back on, man. It's always good to have you on the show.
Yeah,
awesome. I appreciate it, man. I really do. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Super fun talking to you, dude. Love the pickups too, man. That PS1 Japanese, that Lagoon. What's it called? One more time, I can't remember.
Racing Lagoon. That's dude, a highlight, man. That was the highlight of my recent finds.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm that's fire to me. I know what that game is. That is a nice pickup. So
make sure you jump in the Discord so you can see Forrest's pickups. He always shares them over there.
Yeah, maybe we'll post our plushies. People want to see the plushies. We'll put them there.
I will. You know what? Since Frankie, I'll post them in the in Figsy's chat. I do have a bunch of plushie from games. I might just post them.
I'll put the link in chat if you guys are looking for it. There we go.
Cool. So what are we doing? What's the next show, Figsy? Is it going to be Saturday night again? We doing one?
I believe so. Don't quote me on that.
All right. Yeah, sorry if we're a little late on the time. Freaking daylight savings doesn't happen.
Yeah, daylight savings don't exist for me, so I just came on the normal time.
We'll figure out what we're gonna do on Saturday.
Well, I did enjoy it, guys, and I appreciate it again. I know it's been a while since I've been on, but I just had some personal things to come up that I had to take care of. So
that's always good to have you on, man. We'll definitely get you on again. I love the setup, and it's always good audio and video quality, and that's the main thing, and good content. So,
we'll come back on. We got Dragon Warrior 3 remake, Suikoden 2 remake. We got Ayuden Chronicles. We got E's coming. We got RPGs for days. We'll have you back
for hundreds of hours.
Oh yeah,
I cannot wait for those games to come out, man. I'm looking forward to all of them. See, again, more JRPGs. Goodness.
That's what I'm talking about. Cool, man.
All right, have a good night, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Night, everybody.
Good night, guys.
You found the coolest place to be, the PlayStation Collecting Series. Come on, won't you sing with me? Welcome to the show. Gather round the boys and girls, collectors from around the world. Let's show the people what they need to know. Welcome to the show. Gonna talk to guests, only got the best. Gonna put their knowledge to the test. Gonna laugh and eat, gonna listen, dream, gonna show you things you've never seen. Gonna sing the song to the break of dawn. Gonna rock this party all night long. So come on everybody, let me see you dance. Get yourself ready for one more chance. You found the